Okay, welcome everyone to Football Friday. Great to be here. We have basketball going on, March Madness. Ohio State might lose, so might be early bracket buster. Hopefully not for mine and everyone else's sake. But anyways, uh, we have a very, very, very long show today. Wow, Ohio
That'll
State.
happen on the first day or the first week of free agency. I mean,
Yeah, Ohio State's going to overtime now, which is just sad. But anyways, yeah, week one free agency, Football Friday. A lot of stuff going on. We'll start off with trades. Then we'll get into some just random stuff that doesn't fit into any other categories. Got some restructures / reworkings of deals, releases, re-signings, and then finally we'll do some signings before we get into our FCS weekend preview and also our specialist rankings, top fives for the 2021 NFL draft. So let's start off with the first trade here. The Jags. They get defensive lineman Malcolm Brown from the Saints for number 248 overall in the 7th round. Kind of surprised it was that low, but a lot of the trades have kind of been low, even for some guys that, are household names. So, low cost for the Jags, though, rebuilding their defensive line.
Mm-hmm.
And Malcolm Brown also agreed to a new deal with the Jags as a part of the trade. 2 years, $11 million, $8 million guaranteed. Next one here, the Bills getting a 22 late round pick. I couldn't find exactly what the round was. I'm sure it's a conditional 7th round pick. For tight end Lee Smith going to the Falcons. I did see that Smith was possibly thinking about retiring. But yeah, another low level trade.
Yeah, it says a 7th round pick for him. So you're right.
And like I said, I think it's probably conditional from what I read, upon him actually making the 53, I think would probably be the condition. All right. Next one here. The Rams sending defensive lineman Michael Brockers to the Lions for a 2023 7th round pick. And again, that was kind of something that I was very surprised at the compensation back to the Rams because, personally, I think Michael Brockers is pretty good. And to get a 7th round pick, let alone a 7th round pick 2 years out.
Nothing. The only thing I can think about with this whole trade is there could have been discussions about the whole trade that just happened between these two teams, with the quarterbacks and all that. And the Lions are probably like, listen, we already gave you everything we could pretty much. So here, take that. But who knows?
Yeah, I think it was also partly his salary was probably why, because he did, just like Malcolm Brown, he agreed to a new deal with the Lions as a part of the trade. 3 years, $24 million, $11 million fully guaranteed. So, but yeah, I've liked what the Lions have been doing, except for the golf trade. I still think they need a different quarterback, but other than that, Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes, I think, aren't doing a terrible job rebuilding the Lions. All right, next trade here. This was the biggest one. in terms of draft pick compensation.
hmm
The Raiders sending center Rodney Hudson and a 2021 seventh round pick, number 246 overall, to the Cardinals for number 79 overall in the third round. Raiders were going to release Hudson. And then like, all right, well, we found a trade partner. Same thing with another Raiders trade we'll see in a little bit with a different offensive lineman. But yeah.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised to see this one happen. I mean, like you said, they were planning on releasing him, but I was surprised that they got a third round pick for him. I mean, I know Rodney Hudson's a pretty good center in this league, but he is on the older side. So I felt like a third round pick was kind of high for that, especially with some of these other deals that we've been discussing and that we will be discussing in a few seconds.
Yeah, I mean, I think just he's one of the best centers out there. And yeah, I mean, third round probably kind of high, but Raiders got it done. So, all right, next one here. Going back to the Jags. They sent tight end Josh Oliver to the Ravens for a 22 conditional seventh round pick. And Josh Oliver was a former third round pick. So relatively high draft pick, not working out for the Jags. Finds a new home in Baltimore, at least for now.
And I mean, Baltimore knows how to use their tight ends, so we'll see if he is just we'll see what his role will be on the team. But they already have Mark Andrews as the starter there, so
yeah, along with Nick Boyle.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember the other tight end they have.
I don't know.
But yeah. Wow. This game is not cannot believe what I'm looking at right now. All right, next trade here. Another Raiders one, like I said. Sending guard Gabe Jackson to the Seahawks. Fifth round pick, number 167, comes back for Gabe Jackson. And again, I thought the Raiders got pretty good value out of a guy that they were going to release. Seahawks needed offensive line help to appease Russell Wilson. So,
I mean, I don't know. I like with the two trades with the Raiders here. I saw a lot of backlash on Twitter from Raiders fans and even from Seahawks fans too, because for the Raiders fans, they were complaining about how they traded away two of their starting offensive linemen and how they signed certain people that we'll talk about in a few minutes. But and then the backlash I was seeing from Seattle was, why did they trade for him and didn't make a bigger push for Hudson? But yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. The Seahawks offensive line, I usually don't even know who's playing for the Seahawks except for I know Dwayne Brown's playing left tackle. That's really it.
Yeah, I can't name anybody else on that line right
now. All right. Let's go to back-to-back Texans Patriots trades here. We'll actually go 3 straight Texans trades to end it. But we already talked about this one on Monday, but the actual pick compensation came out this week in between the shows. So the exact picks, the Patriots get 4th round, number 122, and 6th, 187. Going to the Texans is offensive tackle Marcus Cannon, 5th round, number 158, and 6th round, number 194. I saw when I was reading to find out the picks, someone was saying, the Patriots made out better than they originally thought, which I didn't really understand how, because I thought the original deal was said that they were moving up in fourth, fifth, and sixth round, but now they just get a fourth and a sixth instead of fourth, fifth, and sixth. So I don't know. Well, I guess they didn't give up a fourth though, so that's a plus.
Yeah, I was a little confused by this trade because I thought that Marcus Cannon was a pretty good offensive lineman. So, I mean, I know that they need to make some space for all these free agents that they're signing and whatnot, but yeah, I thought Marcus Cannon was a pretty good offensive lineman. So I'm surprised to see them trade him away for
Oh,
a fourth and a sixth and giving up those picks as well.
well, when they got Trent Brown back from the Raiders, there wasn't a starting tackle spot open.
Yeah.
With Isaiah Wynn at left tackle. So yeah. And from what I heard is Marcus Cannon is probably going to slide into guard for the Texans, but I don't think he's ever played guard in the NFL. So
No, I think he's always been a tackle there with the Patriots. So.
yeah. So I have no idea. But anyways, all right. Next Texans Patriots deal here. Pat sending tight end Ryan Izzo to the Texans for a 2022 seventh round pick. I mean, the Patriots had a million tight ends, so like talk about here when we get to the signings portion.
Yeah, with their two acquisitions via free agency, they definitely didn't need Izzo there.
Plus, they had the two guys they drafted last year in Dalton Keene and Devin at USC. So this will be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see if all four of those guys end up making the roster or if they end up trading or cutting another one. So we'll have to see what happens there. But obviously, I don't think that they cut either of the two free agents that they just signed. But
yeah. And I mean, I think it's going to be hard to cut the two second-year guys too, because both of them were third-round picks last year. So unless they can get like a fourth rounder out of one of them, I would probably say they're going to go into the season with 4 tight ends.
One of the few teams that'll actually do that.
Yeah, but I think the Patriots are going back to what worked in the early 2010s. And really, Ohio State just missed 2 free throws. I cannot believe it. Ohio State's going to lose.
I mean, they're not known for basketball. So.
But they were a number 2 seed. So that's bracket buster on the first day of the NCAA tournament is always great.
Hey, there's always that one team that's the Cinderella story.
I was just saying early in the game, I was like, I don't even know where Oral Roberts is. So, well, it looks like they're in Tulsa. And oh my Lord, they just keep missing shots. Wow. All right. Last trade here just happened today. The Bengals traded quarterback Ryan Finley to the Texans for a swap of late round picks. I couldn't find anywhere today exact pick compensation. I know Rappaport said that they were moving up like 30 spots. I was trying to make it work to see on my draft Excel spreadsheet. There were a couple things that could have worked. I think the Bengals moving up from 231 to 200 from the 7th to the 6th round would have made sense. But yeah, I don't know the exact picks. So
yeah, the only thing I see here is that it says it looks like the pick is likely a swap in what will be the 6th round. So
yeah, which doesn't make sense because the Bengals 6th round picks are already higher
hmm
and the last 6th round pick that the Texans have. So
Yeah, I don't know. But I mean, I don't want to get ahead of myself here, but could the Texans have just traded for their future starting quarterback?
no.
Because I mean, it's looking more likely that Watson will not start for the Texans this year, regardless of if he's under contract with another team or not.
Well, they have another quarterback as well, which we'll talk about coming up. But yeah, Texans found their quarterback room though pretty quickly. All right, that is all the trades for the week. All right, we'll go back to NFL news. Random news time. Just the update: Ohio State is now down 3 with 13 seconds to go in overtime. So, great times. Anyways, all right, we'll start off with the new TV deal signed by the NFL and its media partners. Oral Roberts just stunned Ohio State. 572 final in overtime. Cannot believe it. Anyways, the new TV deal the NFL signed runs from 2023 to 2033. Two highlights that I took away from it, anyways, was that Thursday Night Football not going to be on NFL Network anymore. It's moving to Amazon Prime in 2023, which I severely hate. Having to pay for another service when you already have cable with NFL Network. So yeah, that kind of annoyed me. But
yeah, I when I saw this, I was kind of annoyed too. I was like, I mean, luckily I already have Amazon Prime, but it's still annoying to for those out there, like you said, that don't have the service yet. Now, in order to watch the Thursday night games, they're going to have to pay for an extra service on top of everything else. So,
yeah, and also it's gonna be. I don't like it because like you're not gonna be able to watch it on your TV unless you have like Roku or one of those that you can stream Amazon Prime from your TV. So that's also another drawback, I think, of that. Granted, I'm old fashioned. I don't like streaming. So, anyways, the other point that I pulled from that deal was ESPN, ABC. They get 2 Super Bowls in that 10-year window.
each or like one each?
One. Like, I'm sure they will simulcast. I'm sure the Super Bowl will be on ESPN and ABC.
Yeah.
As a part of kind of what they do for the college football playoff national championship. They have their mega cast where they have literally something on every single ESPN network. So yeah, I'm sure it'll be something like that. But yeah, that was the TV deal. All right, next thing here, Donald Penn, the longtime Raider, is retiring. He signed a 1-day contract to retire as a Raider. 194 games, 2-time Pro Bowler for Donald Penn. Not really major. I mean, I hadn't even heard from him in like a while.
I kind of, I mean, I kind of even forgot he was still in the league, to be honest.
Yeah. All right. Next thing is gonna talk about a lot of restricted free agent tenders here. The Broncos had an interesting situation happen. Originally, they tendered running back Philip Lindsay at the right of first refusal. tender. They rescinded that though. Philip Lindsay and the Broncos agreed that it's time to part ways. So that just adds another running back to free agency when there's only been like one big name running back to sign so far.
I'm trying to think. I can't even think of. I think only the one. I think it's only the one big name that's signed so far. I mean, Carson is still out there. Fournette's still out there.
Le'Veon.
Oh yeah, Bell. So there's still a bunch of bigger name guys out there that haven't been signed yet. But where would you rank Lindsey though with those other guys?
James Conner's still there too.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I really liked Philip Lindsay. Obviously, we had that discussion on Monday. Philip Lindsay versus Kenyon Drake. Kenyon Drake signed, obviously. But I don't know. I kind of like Philip. I would probably put Philip Lindsay at number 4. Chris Carson, James Conner, Fournette, and then Lindsay. When you take Drake off the board, so
yeah, I could see him being put there. I've never really been a big fan of Lindsay, but I think he could help out some team.
I mean, he does have his name in the record books as the only undrafted offensive player to make the Pro Bowl as a rookie. So, all right. The Cowboys, they tendered restricted free agent defensive tackle Antoine Woods at the right of first refusal level as well. Other guys getting tagged at that level tendered. The Colts special teamer George Odom, as well as the Packers corner Chandon Sullivan. I don't know exactly because I wasn't able to find that, but the Chiefs also tendering wide receiver Byron Pringle. I'm sure that is at right of first refusal level as well.
Probably.
Other restricted free agent tenders. The second round tender went to Colts wide receiver Zach Pascal and Patriots corner J.C. Jackson also at the second round level. I did hear that was a big thing for a lot of teams because J.C. Jackson could possibly get traded, or not traded, but the teams are possibly going to put in offer sheets for J.C. Jackson, considering it's a second round pick going back to the Patriots if he signs with another team. So, and there was one first round. At least I thought there was. Maybe not. I was just seeing things on the script. Never mind. Anyways, the Broncos, they're keeping Von Miller. Exercised his $7 million 2021 option. He will now make $18 million for the 21 season.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of money for 37-year-old pass rusher.
Yeah, I was like honestly surprised with their decision to exercise the option because, like you said, $18 million for a mid-30s pass rusher. I mean, I'm sure he can still make a good impact and big impact and whatnot, but he's definitely not up to the level of when they were going to the Super Bowl for those couple of years. And I honestly thought that he would have been better off going to a team where he doesn't have to be the guy anymore. Mm-hmm. Because in Denver, I mean, they have Chubb on the other side, but I don't know. I thought he would have been better off going to another team that he kind of would have been like the final piece instead of still, like I said, still being kind of the main focus of that defense.
Yeah, I agree. Crazy that it's already been 6 years since Von Miller won Super Bowl MVP and Super Bowl 50.
That was the one against the Panthers, right?
Yeah. Mike Remmers, part one. The free agent running back James White. A lot of teams looking into him right now. And the team that everyone thinks he's going to, the Bucks, also are looking at him. But yeah, I think he's definitely done in New England for one.
Yeah.
So.
Well, the Buccaneers make a lot of sense for him on multiple levels. I mean, obviously, he's got the Tom Brady connection there and all that, and the fact that Fournette is a free agent now, who knows what he's doing? I mean, if he doesn't go back to Tampa Bay, then I think it's like a no-brainer for him to go for White to go down there. But the other what am I trying to say? The other reason why I think the Buccaneers fit him well is because James White is from down there. I mean, his family's from the Miami area, but Tampa Bay is still down in Florida as well. So, if he wanted to go back home, then there you go.
Yeah. Plus no state income tax.
That too.
They always say. But yeah, James White. I don't foresee his market moving very quickly, considering the slug of a running back market right now. So, all right, the Bears. Obviously, they tagged Allen Robinson for the second year in a row, $18 million there. He signed his tag. But they're possibly looking to trade another wide receiver, Anthony Miller, their former third. I forget if he was second or third.
I think it was a third round pick.
Yeah, he's coming in. He's going in the final year of his rookie deal. Hasn't really lived up too much to his draft pedigree. I still think he's good. He hasn't shown that he's dominant, but still think he's a serviceable 2 or 3.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at this and like thinking about it, would you rather pretty much give up a second rounder for Zach Pascal, or would you rather trade Anthony Miller for, I don't know what he would be worth, but I don't know, between the two receivers, I think I'd rather give up that second rounder for Pascal.
I wouldn't give a second round up for either of them.
I'm just saying. Because, yeah.
I think probably Anthony Miller on the high end, you're looking at a 5th round pick right now. But yeah, that's probably as high as I would go on either of those two. Another guy that will probably get traded, Anthony Miller's possible trade. But the Eagles have given tight end Zach Ertz permission to seek a trade finally. Knew he was going to get traded eventually, but now his agent can actually go out and contact teams and see about finding a deal there. Another guy that got permission to seek a trade today, Steelers corner Steven Nelson, graded out as one of the best corners in football per PFF. And yeah, I would be sad for Steven Nelson to leave, but the Steelers need the cap space. So, and they can probably get a good draft pick for Steven Nelson right now.
Yeah. I mean, both of those guys have been big parts of their current teams, but I don't know. I think that the corner market is a lot better right now than the tight end market is. Even though Zach Ertz probably has been the top 3 or 4 tight ends since he's been in the league.
Yeah, I just think his down year this past year is kind of deflating his value.
Uh-huh.
So again, it's probably I would say on the high end. If some team really loves Zach Ertz, I think the Eagles could get a 3rd round pick for him, but I would probably say 4th would be a safe bet as the high end of a trade. So,
yeah. I mean, I'm trying to think of teams that could really use a tight end right now, and I mean, all the teams that were looking for tight ends pretty much already got one, but like, yeah, I can't even think of any. I mean, I was thinking about maybe the Chargers, but they signed Jared Cook. I mean, I know that's not really that big of a signing, but and they could still trade for Ertz too, but yeah, I don't see that happening. And then again, another Patriots tight end with Jonnu Smith, his old team could be looking for one. So I don't know.
Yeah. The Titans make sense, like you said. The Saints make sense as well. They don't really have a guy at tight end right now after losing Cook in free agency. So, but they can't make.
They're too cap strapped right now for that.
Yeah. Steven Nelson, I think you're looking at. I mean, 2nd round pick, 3rd round at the worst as your highest selection there. I think probably considering how he's played, he's still. I believe he's 30, exactly 30. Could be wrong, but he's definitely late 20s, early 30s. But I'm pretty sure he's right at 30 right now.
Yeah, he'll definitely upgrade any secondary that he goes to. I mean, just thinking about this from a Jets fan perspective, I wouldn't mind him in the Jets secondary because they're desperate for some corners. But and they do have the draft capital to pull off a trade like that. So
yeah, it's kind of funny because when Nelson first signed from the Chiefs to the Steelers a couple years ago, I was like, why? Why are we giving this guy? He got like 3 years, 22 million or something like that. I was like, why are we giving this guy that sucked with the Chiefs 22 million? And turned out to be a great move by GM Kevin Colbert there. So, all right, another interesting an interesting scenario happened this week with the Eagles and the Niners. The Eagles traded last year on draft day or during the draft for wide receiver CJ Goodwin from the Niners. I don't remember what the exact trade was in terms of pick compensation. Oh, look at that. We get the Ryan Finley compensation trade terms just popping up. So we'll go off of the Niners, Eagles. Bengals traded Ryan Finley and a 7th round pick to the Texans for a 6th round pick that they had from the Dolphins, which is exactly the pick that I said. Number 200 goes to the Bengals. I don't know what number it is that goes back to the Texans as that 7th rounder because the Bengals have 2 7th round picks. So it's either 231 or 233. I think those are the 2 Bengals picks in the 7th round. So, yeah. Anyways.
So yeah, the I was looking up the Marquise Goodwin thing while you were talking about the Ryan Finley thing, and it was they swapped spots in the 6th round of last year's draft. The 49ers moved up 20 spots from 210 to 190 and selected Georgia tight end Charlie Warner.
Yeah. But per the terms of the trade, so Marquise Goodwin opted out, didn't play this year at all for the Eagles. Per the terms of the trade, though, Marquise Goodwin reverted back to the Niners because he didn't play for the Eagles this year. And he's probably going to be released by the Niners because he doesn't really fit in what they're trying to do anymore. But the Eagles also get a 7th-round pick this year from the Niners because Goodwin reverted back. So it's kind of a weird thing. It saved the Eagles $4.28 million this year on the cap. So weird transaction, but Howie Roseman gets a pick out of it. So
Yeah, I don't know. It's like you said, it was a really weird scenario. And I mean, if he's going to be released, that could also open up another wide receiver in the free agent market. So I don't really see him as a high priority though for a team. He might be one of those late training camp kind of guys, but who knows?
yeah, definitely great to get a draft pick for a guy that didn't play for you. Another guy that teams have been calling about and asking if he is available for trade is Jags quarterback Gardner Minshew. The Jags are hosting quarterback CJ Beathard right now for a visit. So, I mean, teams saw what Minshew did his first 2 years. So, there's definitely promise, I would think, in having Minshew as a backup quarterback. I just don't know how high teams are going to be willing to go in compensation wise.
Yeah, I mean, for a guy like him, I mean, he was a 6th-round pick, and he, I mean, he did okay with the Jaguars in the last couple of years, but he, I mean, he didn't do anything like spectacular. Like they still never made the playoffs with him. They still, I mean, he didn't play the whole season this past year, but they they got the number 1 overall pick this year and all that. So, I mean, I'm not saying it was all his fault because it wasn't, because the Jaguars are just a bad team. But I don't know. I don't think that there's really like I don't think that they get much back for him.
Yeah. I mean, I think they could get a draft pick, a 6th-round pick, so that replaces the 6th that they used on him. So,
Yeah.
All right. Free agent wide receiver Kenny Galladay visiting the Giants currently still. So he's still in New York at this point. The Ravens and Bears have also inquired about his services. I heard the Bears were before Allen Robinson signed his franchise tag. So I would think that the Bears are out now. The Ravens still in play. But yeah, it seems like the Giants most likely are going to land Kenny Galladay.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Bears would be an interesting scenario though, because I mean they're in the Lions division obviously, and I mean even though they're going to have probably Andy Dalton as the quarterback, I think it would be a pretty nice duo there with Robinson and Galladay. But yeah, out of those 3 teams, I think they're the least likely. And then the Ravens, we all know how bad their receiving core is too. Outside of Marquise Brown, I don't really think they have any good receivers. And we'll talk about it in a few minutes, but one of the free agent receivers that signed today was like they were pushing hard for him too. So, yeah, they probably will make a big push for Galladay too if he leaves New York today without a deal.
Yeah, definitely. I don't even think Marquise Brown has been that special anyways. But yeah, the Bears, I thought that they were in. Oh yeah, they are. They're still in. They don't have any cap room either, so that's why Kenny Galladay is probably not signing with the Bears. I still wouldn't rule out a return to the Lions. If his depending on what the final, offer is from the Giants, if I was his agent and he still wanted to play in Detroit, I'd go back to the Lions one last time and be like, all right, what's your final offer? This is what the Giants are offering. But it doesn't seem like the Lions want him anyways. So
Yeah. And I mean, you'd have to think that it plays into the factor a little bit, but if I was Galladay looking at the teams that are interested in me, I don't think I'd want to go back to the Lions because I wouldn't want to be stuck with Jared Goff. And then looking at the Giants, I mean, Daniel Jones is okay, but I still wouldn't want to go there. And then even with the Ravens, Lamar Jackson is not the best passer. I mean, he's a good quarterback, but he's not the best passer. So, I mean, no matter where you look for those couple teams, and even with the Bears, because we mentioned them, none of those teams really have that great of a quarterback. So it's kind of interesting that those are the teams that he's looking into signing with.
yeah, definitely. Chris, are you happy about this next thing that Patrick Chung retired from the Patriots? He's not picking off Jets anymore.
Yeah, I was somewhat surprised when I saw this pop up on my screen. I mean, he opted out last year, and then, I mean, I don't even think he's that old. He's like early 30s, I think. So I don't know if he was just enjoying the year off too much, so he was like, "Yeah, I don't want to come back," or what. But he, as much as I hate the Patriots, he was not one of the players I hated. I actually kind of liked Patrick Chung. So good for him that he's retiring, though. Like you said, he doesn't have to terrorize the Jets anymore. But yeah.
All right. The Raiders, they have a quarterback situation right now. So Marcus Mariota, they want him to take a massive pay cut. They want him to go from 10.7 million, which he's due in 21, down to 3 million to still be the backup to Derek Carr. And from what I've heard, Mariota is going to be like, no, not doing that. Not dropping my salary from $7 million. So eventually the Raiders will probably release Mariota, and he should have a market from what I heard.
Yeah, there's been a lot of teams that were inquiring about trading for him, but the Raiders don't seem interested in trading for him, which is kind of interesting. Because it's, I mean, it's the whole thing about getting something in return rather than just flat out releasing him and then not getting anything for him. But yeah, I don't think he'll spend too much time as a free agent once he's released.
Well, I think the issue about trading Mariota right now is that because his salary is 10.7 million, teams don't want to take that. So
yeah,
and especially with that salary, you're not going to be able to get high draft pick compensation back with that salary. So
yeah. But then the other thing too with the whole Mariota refusing the pay cut, does he really think he's going to get that much more than the 3 million that he would be getting with the Raiders?
I would think so. I said about the 10.7 is kind of a lot for teams to trade for, but at the same time, you see the quarterback contracts that have been handed out, 10 million, $12 million deals on 1 year. So I wouldn't be surprised if he gets between 7 and 10 million on the open market. So another quarterback. Haven't heard anything since he's been with the Jets, Chris. But the Niners They hosted quarterback Joe Flacco on a visit this week, possibly looking to upgrade from Nick Mullins as the backup. Chris, is that an upgrade?
From Nick Mullins, yeah, but I don't think he's an upgrade to another quarterback that they are probably going to let walk with CJ Beathard. I think Beathard is better than both of those other guys. So, it's kind of interesting to see that they're moving on from Beathard. But I don't know. Flacco, I hate to say it, but Flacco did play better than Darnold this past season. So I don't know if that's a product of Flacco actually having something left in the tank or Darnold just sucking. But either way, even if Flacco doesn't play, I think he's a good veteran presence to have as a backup.
Yeah. I mean, so I remember they said that on NFL Network, and then someone said, like, thought Joe Flacco was like done. So who knows? Also getting a visit, the Colts hosting offensive tackle Julian Davenport for a visit, looking to possibly sign him as their new left tackle after Anthony Costanzo retired. They have a big hole there. And the Giants are hosting Titans corner Adoree Jackson for a visit. He's going to be in New York on Monday. And then he's also going to get a visit with the Eagles on Tuesday if the Giants let him leave on Monday. So,
yeah, I mean, the Davenport thing, I don't really know much about him, but like you said, the Colts are desperate for a left tackle now because of the Costanzo retirement, and because they know the injury history of their now new starting quarterback. So yeah, they really need a left tackle now. But
plus they have a new shiny pass rusher down in Tennessee to worry about.
And then as for the Adoree Jackson thing, I've always been a big fan of him. I mean, I know he didn't really do too much down in Tennessee, but I think whatever team gets him, if it's the Giants, if it's the Eagles, or if it's another team, I think whatever team gets him is getting a nice young cornerback that I think it'll be a similar situation to the Steven Nelson thing that you were talking about before, about how he signed that contract and you were like, why are we signing him? He sucks. And then he turns out to be one of the better corners in the next couple of years.
Yeah. I mean, I still don't believe in Adoree Jackson. I don't think he's that good. He still could be a returner, I guess. I mean, he was a good returner at USC, but hasn't really been a returner in the NFL considering he was starting on defense. Other visits getting announced today. The Texans hosting Jags wide receiver Chris Conley, and your Jets outside linebacker Jordan Jenkins also visiting with the Texans today. And the Niners hosting Packers offensive lineman Lane Taylor on a visit as well. I saw something. This doesn't relate to either of those teams, but I saw something that said the Patriots already have 79 of a possible 90 max all-season roster signed. The Texans have to be close to that too because they've signed everyone and anyone this offseason. So, yeah. Keep signing players, Texans. Maybe they're doing the funnel trick where you just sign a bunch of guys and then hope that like half of them work out. The Chiefs we could be hearing some news soon on the Chiefs re-signing some more guys. They are working on a deal with center Austin Reiter. I heard that. And they also could be re-signing corner Bashad Breeland and safety Dan Sorensen. So Dirty Dan possibly getting back with the Chiefs with Tyrann Mathieu there. Or Matthew still signed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. But yeah, that is all the random news anyways. Trades and random news. Good. It only took us an hour on that one, on those two categories. Not as many restructures or / reworking of deals here, but we'll start off with some reworked deals. The Giants, they cleared $6 million in cap space, dropping offensive tackle Nate Solder's deal salary down to $4 million this season. So again, interesting to see where Nate Solder plays. If he plays on the left side and Andrew Thomas slides over to right, or vice versa. I don't know what that situation is going to be yet. The Eagles also reworked two guys' deals: kicker Jake Elliott and safety Rodney McLeod. I didn't see the savings on those two deals. I'm sure it's not much as in terms of Jake Elliott's deal. Probably a little bit of chunk of change from Rodney McLeod getting his one reworked. So as far as restructures go, the Rams doing a lot of work. They restructured corner Jalen Ramsey and wide receiver Robert Woods, saved them $20 million in total. They're also looking to restructure wide receiver Cooper Kupp and defensive tackle Aaron Donald. I'm sure that would probably be close to another 20 million with those two.
Yeah, I'd say. But I think that majority of the money that they're saving is from Ramsey and Donald.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't know the contracts of the other two, but I definitely don't think that they're as high as Ramsey and Donald were.
Well, Kupp did just sign his extension last year, though.
Yeah.
And he didn't get top receiver money, but he still got paid. So, the Falcons finally got their restructure done with Matt Ryan. His cap hit in 21 goes from 40.9 million to 26.9 million, so 14 million in savings there. Field Yates said that his 2022 cap hit is likely going to be around 48.62 million.
That's insane.
So I don't know how the structure looks and what the dead money would be for Ryan next year. But yeah, I'm not sure that when the Falcons are ever going to be able to get out of Matt Ryan's deal.
I don't know, but I mean, I think that this might be his last year with the Falcons, though. I think they'll find a way to get as much money back as they possibly can next year.
Yeah.
And move on.
Also getting restructured, Packers linebackers Zadarius Smith, $7.38 million in cap savings there. No real issue with that one. And then also the Vikings restructured wide receiver Adam Thielen. That is $8 million extra on the salary cap for the Vikings. Releases here, the Lions saved $8.55 million for releasing both quarterback Chase Daniel and defensive tackle Danny Shelton. I was kind of surprised by Chase Daniel, considering we said like a week ago that there was trade talks trade for Chase Daniel, so possibly he will have a market as a backup quarterback out there. So.
Mm-hmm.
The Saints made it official finally, releasing linebacker Quan Alexander. The Titans, we already said, Adoree Jackson visiting the Giants and Eagles, but they released him and offensive tackle Dennis Kelly. Titans have a massive hole at right tackle now. Dennis Kelly was their starter. Obviously, the Isaiah Wilson thing didn't work out. They do have Taylor Lewan still at left tackle. So Panthers also releasing a couple guys. Defensive tackle Zach Kerr and safety Trey Boston. I feel like this is the third time that the Panthers have released Trey Boston. He just keeps coming back. But he's good. I mean, he's been good with the Panthers is the only place he's really played well. So a big one, also kind of surprising. The Chiefs released running back Damian Williams, Super Bowl hero 2 years ago. Yeah, it's just another running back though. It's the running back market is so,
loaded.
Yeah,
I think that's why it's so slow though, because there's so many good options. But yeah, I was surprised when I saw that they released Damian Williams because, I mean, it showed last year that they were really missing him. I mean, I know they didn't have the greatest offensive line last year, especially towards the end of the season, but their run game was it was non-existent last year. Other than a couple good games from Clyde Edwards-Helaire, but with Williams sitting out last year, they were really missing him. So I'm surprised to see them release him.
Yeah, they just need to make room for all their offensive line signings. That's why. The Steelers releasing a long-time starting inside linebacker Vince Williams, $4 million in savings for Pittsburgh on that one. Texans, 3 guys released their offensive lineman Zach Fulton, tight end Darren Fells, so I know you like, Chris, and punter Brian Anger out of Houston there.
Yeah, they're really doing a great job of trying to keep Deshaun Watson there. Because Fells is one of his favorite targets, especially because he doesn't really have any receivers. And the fact that they're releasing him, he's really not going to want to play there now.
Yeah, definitely. Patriots released a couple guys, wide receiver Marquise Lee and defensive tackle Bo Allen. And then the Bears, Ian Rappaport said that they did not, the release of cornerback Kyle Fuller was not on the league's transaction list today. Still not free yet. The Bears are trying to trade him first, I heard. Which I don't know why a team wouldn't trade for Kyle Fuller. I mean, 2-time Pro Bowler in 6 seasons with the Bears. So,
yeah, I mean, I don't know his contract situation, but he's definitely a cornerback I would look into as well. And I mean, once he is released, I might even say he's the top corner on the market at that point.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember who all's out there right now, but
I mean, the two names I could think of are Richard Sherman and the guy we've already talked about, Adoree Jackson, and I think that he'd be a better signing than both of those guys.
Yeah, so. For sure. Younger than Sherman, better player than Jackson. The Bengals released 2 longtime starters as well. Right tackle Bobby Hart, who is much maligned in Cincinnati, as well as defensive tackle Geno Atkins. The Geno Atkins era done now in Cincinnati. So good veteran presence though. Anyone that needs a defensive lineman. All right, let's get into re-signings here. So start off with New Orleans. They re-signed quarterback Jameis Winston 1 year, $12 million deal to be the starter. I would think, anyways, unless
I
it's
mean,
got open competition.
yeah, I was gonna say, Peyton did say that it was gonna be a competition, but I mean, I don't know. I definitely think that Winston is the better quarterback between him and Hill, but I wouldn't necessarily say the better player.
The Jags re-signed corner City Jones to a 1 year deal. Played pretty well for the Jags in limited snaps.
Mhm.
If he gets to stay in Jacksonville. The Ravens re-signed linebacker Tyus Bowser. 4 years, $22 million, $12 million guaranteed. Kind of surprised that it was that long of a deal.
Mhm.
Also, comes out to what, 5.5 million per season.
Yeah.
But the Ravens needed linebackers. They needed rushers with losing Judon and Ngakwe. So
Uh-huh.
they build from within. The Steelers, they re-signed offensive tackle Zach Banner, 2 years, $9.5 million, 3.25 signing bonus. And I would think that Zach Banner is going to be the week 1 starter at left tackle for the Steelers. Villanueva is still a free agent.
Uh-huh.
They do have Chuck Okorafor as well at the right tackle. So I believe Zach Banner probably, I don't know. One way or the other, I think both those guys are going to be the starters. The Chiefs re-signed DN Taco Charlton to a 1 year deal. Didn't do much with Kansas City last year. Situational pass rusher, though.
Yeah, I was gonna say I totally forgot he was even on Kansas City. I honestly kind of forgot he was even in the league, to be honest. But yeah, he was a guy that I feel like a lot of people were high on coming out of the draft, but he just hasn't done much in his career so far.
Yeah, second round draft pick for the Cowboys 3 years ago, I believe it is now. The Cardinals re-signed their left tackle,
Uh-huh.
Kelvin Beachum, to a 2 year deal.
Yeah, they can keep him.
Marcus Gilbert, the right tackle who opted out this year. The Bears also re-signing an offensive lineman, Jermaine Ifedi, to a 1 year, $5 million deal there. Help protect Andy Dalton. The Raiders, they re-signed linebacker Nicholas Morrow to a 1 year, $5 million deal, $4.5 million guaranteed. Very underrated linebacker for Vegas. Coverage guy, really. I don't think he's that great in the run. And then the Niners, they signed left tackle Trent Williams, 6 year, $138.06 million, $55.1 million guaranteed, highest paid offensive lineman in NFL history. And really, it's two 3 year deals. First one is the first 3 years is 60.75 million with 45.1 million guaranteed. Then they can get out of it if they want to after the 3 years. The second 3 years is 77.31 million, and that's with 10 million guaranteed. That option has to be exercised by April 1st, 2023. So
but that was just like when I saw that pop up, I was baffled by this deal. Because yes, Trent Williams is a good offensive lineman, left tackle for the. I mean, but he's on the north side of 30 now, and I don't know. When I saw 6 years for $138 million, it just doesn't make sense to me. I know, like you said, there was technically 2 deals in one, but I
Yeah,
would not have given him $60 million for 3 years.
he's 33 years old right now. So
I would not have committed a guaranteed 45 million to him for that contract. But I mean, if it works out, it works out. But I don't see that contract working out too well for the Niners.
I'm on the opposite side of that. Uh, Washington football team, they re-signed 2 guys to 1-year deals. Running back Lamar Miller, offensive tackle David Sharp, who they traded for from the Raiders last year. Another guy, Lamar Miller, late season signing for Washington. Never saw the field. So yeah.
It's interesting that they re-signed him because they already got 2 other guys there with Gibson and McKissick. So I still don't know if he's going to see the field very much.
The Texans, they released Aaron Fells, but they re-signed tight end Pharaoh Brown to a 1-year, $2.2 million deal there. Pharaoh Brown, great times there. The Raiders, they re-signed wide receiver Zay Jones, as well as offensive lineman Denzel Good. Good's deal is 2 years, $8.36 million, $3.19 million guaranteed. So they traded Gabe Jackson, but they have Denzel Good, who can play both tackle and guard. So. Titans, they re-signed linebacker Jayon Brown, 1 year, $5.25 million there. Interesting one here. The Colts re-signed running back Marlon Mack to a 1-year, $2 million deal. Mm-hmm. I didn't think there was any shot that Mack was back in Indy.
Well, not only that, I did not expect him to sign such a small deal for $2 million for a year. I thought for sure he was going to get a multi-year deal somewhere else for more than $2 million a year.
Yeah, I mean, he is coming off a torn Achilles, I believe it is, injured in week 1 or 2. So most of the season this year. And yeah, I mean, what to see, it's kind of a prove-it deal. I mean, he's obviously going to be the backup behind Jonathan Taylor and probably Nyheim Hines as well. So let's see how much Mack even plays this year. But the Panthers, they re-signed longtime long snapper J.J. Jansen. Bears re-signing safety Dion Bush. And the Bengals re-signing corner Tony Brown as well. Don't have any contract details on either of those 3. The Niners re-signed defensive tackle DJ Jones to a 1-year deal. Very underrated defensive lineman there for San Francisco. Bills re-signing corner Levi Wallace to a 1-year deal. That was an interesting scenario as well. They didn't tender him as a restricted free agent. Did get the deal done, though, to re-sign him in Buffalo. And the Bucks, they just keep bringing their guys back. They re-signed kicker Ryan Suckup, 3 years, $12 million, $6.25 million guaranteed there. And again, it's just another guy going back to Tampa.
I mean, it makes sense for both sides for all these guys that are going back to Tampa. They just won the Super Bowl. So, I mean, why wouldn't the players want to stay? And why wouldn't the team want to keep them? I mean, I feel like the kicker is probably one of the more replaceable positions. Ironically, we're talking about them today in a little bit, but they could have gone out and either drafted one or signed one in free agency or one of the undrafted free agents. But yeah, they chose to go for the guy that they've already been playing with there, and they have him for the foreseeable future for the next 3 years.
Yeah, definitely solidified that position for Tampa after years of mishaps from the special teams kicker position.
The infamous Roberto Aguayo pick, right? They're the ones that picked him in the second round.
Yeah. Matt Gay also did not work out as well there in Tampa. The Cowboys, they re-signed corner Jordan Lewis to a 3 $16.5 million deal, $8 million guaranteed there. One of their young corners. They got one out of two. They had him and Chidobe Awuzie, free agents. Got one of them back at least. The Browns re-signed wide receiver Rashard Higgins, 1 year, $2.38 million, fully guaranteed. Broke out last year while OBJ was injured. Played second fiddle to Jarvis Landry most of the year, and then stepped up really. And trying to think, is it the Titans game?
Yeah, I think so.
He had a monster game that day, 2 touchdowns, I believe. But yeah,
he's another guy, kind of like Marlon Mack. I'm surprised he only took a 1-year deal for $2.38 million to stay with his current team. I mean, like you said, he kind of had somewhat of a breakout season last year, being the number 2 to Jarvis Landry. But now, if Odell Beckham's back, he goes back to being the third receiver. And yeah, I don't see him really doing much there in Cleveland this year.
Yeah, I agree. The Chiefs, you're familiar with this guy, Chris. They re-signed running back Elijah McGuire to a 1-year deal.
Yeah, I'm happy to see him still play in the league. I was upset when the Jets originally let him go because I actually liked him. I thought he was a pretty good running back, especially with the running back situation that the Jets had. Obviously, things didn't work out with Bell there in either team, actually, which is kind of funny. But the Jets definitely made the wrong decision there with letting McGuire go and signing Le'Veon Bell. But I mean, this kind of answers my question from earlier with what they're planning on doing with the running back position, because I kind of forgot that McGuire was an option there for them. So I guess now he'll play backup to Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
Yeah, I mean, they also still have Darrell Williams as well there. So, the Eagles getting some business done. They re-signed defensive tackle Hassan Ridgeway, good backup defensive lineman for them. Seahawks re-signed fullback Nick Bellore, gonna block more for whoever their running back is. Rashad Penny, I guess, it's still the only running back that I know of on Seattle.
Yeah, because Hyde already signed somewhere else, and Carson's still out there. So,
yeah. The Raiders, they re-signed tight end Derek Carrier to a 1-year deal, backing up Darren Waller. The Saints, surprised that they got someone back. But they re-signed corner PJ Williams, 1 year, $2.3 million, fully guaranteed. Good get by the Saints, PJ Williams.
I mean, isn't he the one that's responsible for the infamous Minnesota Miracle play? I believe he's the one that went in for the tackle, then completely missed.
I believe so, yes.
So, I mean, not that I'm still bitter about that, but
the Patriots re-signing your favorite kicker, Chris, Nick Folk, 1 year, $2.25 million.
Yeah, I'm surprised that he's still kicking. I thought that he was done after he left the Jets because he, I believe, took a year off after that.
He was in the
yeah. But
And
he did take a little bit of time off though before coming back to the Patriots. So um, I don't know. I'm surprised that he's gonna still be kicking in 2021.
yeah. The Raiders, they re-signed running back Theo Riddick, 1-year deal. He got 50,000 guaranteed. Yeah, Theo Riddick's gonna leave.
I mean, that's kind of a random signing to me, um, especially with the backfield that they have uh, with Josh Jacobs there, and then the guy that they just signed a couple days ago. But
What hasn't been random with both the Raiders and the Texans this offseason?
that is true. That is true.
The Chiefs, they re-signed offensive tackle Mike Remmers, 1 year, $7 million, $3.5 million guaranteed there to be their starting right tackle. The Seahawks, they re-signed offensive lineman Ethan Pochik, 1 year, $3 million deal. Good interior offensive lineman there. See, there's another offensive lineman that we can say the Seahawks have. Probably going to play center. I know he can play both center and guard there. So the Patriots re-signed their own center, center David Andrews, back in New England on a 4-year deal. I wish I would have been able to see the numbers on that, but I did not see anything out there on the exact details of his 4-year deal. So
Yeah, I haven't seen anything.
Browns also re-signing a kicker, Cody Parkey, back in Cleveland for another year. Really stabilized. He's done a good job rebuilding his career after the double doink against the Eagles in the playoffs 2018 season. The Giants, massive deal done with defensive lineman Leonard Williams, 3 years, $63 million, $45 million guaranteed. Cap hit this year goes down by $8 million from 19 to 11 million. Chris, I know you want to talk about Leonard Williams.
I mean, good for him. I don't think he's worth that, but he did have that pretty good season for the Giants. So, and the only thing that like kind of annoys me is that this kind of screwed up the whole deal with the Jets from 2 years ago now, because the deal was if he was re-signed last season, they got the better pick, but they just franchised him, and now they re-signed him this season, so it doesn't matter with the whole draft now.
I thought it was whether he re-signed at all.
No, it was only for last season.
Are you sure about that?
I'm pretty sure I saw that.
Well, I'm just going to. That's not what I wanted. But yeah, you know, I still think that deal is probably going to backfire on the Giants. Oh, that's why. That's why it's not a 4th-round pick versus a 5th-round pick. It's because they didn't re-sign him before the new league year started.
Mm-hmm.
That's why.
Yeah, so they only had last year to re-sign him, which they did not do.
Another franchise player that got signed to a long-term deal. Broncos getting a deal done with safety Justin Simmons. 4 years, $61 million there, $35 million guaranteed. Really good deal for both sides. Simmons, the highest paid safety now, until Jamal Adams signs an extension with Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
The Bengals, they signed kick returner Brandon Wilson to a 2-year, $4.625 million extension, also technically a wide receiver. But yeah, Brandon Wilson, it kind of emerged last year as one of the better kick returners in the league. I remember he had a 100-yard kick return touchdown in one of his games. The Ravens, they signed defensive end Derek Wolfe to a 3-year, $12 million extension. Good deal for them. And the Seahawks, they got a deal done with restricted free agent defensive tackle Poona Ford. 2 years, $14 million there. Probably the best run-stuffing defensive tackle in the league, I would say.
Yeah, he's definitely one of the best. But yeah, 2 years, $14 million is not a bad deal for him.
And then the biggest one, re-signing today. The Steelers got Juju back. Juju Smith-Schuster agreeing to a deal with Pittsburgh, 1 year, $8 million. It also includes four voidable years to spread his cap hit out, his signing bonus out. So his cap hit this year, $1.6 million. Very, very team-friendly deal for the Steelers.
Mm-hmm.
But it was intriguing, his market. Yeah. Chiefs apparently offered $8 million on a 1-year deal. Ravens, $13 million on a 1-year deal. And then I heard the Eagles also offered a multi-year deal to Juju.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
it was. I was really disappointed when I saw this deal pop up. I mean, I'm sure you're okay with it because it's staying in Pittsburgh, but I thought he was going to get a very large contract from somebody. But he only got a 1-year deal from 3 of those teams, and I'm sure the Eagles' multi-year deal was not for a lot of money either. Obviously, we don't know the total contract details for that, but based on all these other offers, I assume it wasn't a big deal. But yeah, he just clearly he loves Pittsburgh. He took the $5 million less than the Ravens to stay there in Pittsburgh. And I mean, out of all the teams that are on this list, I mean, he could have gotten the same deal with the Chiefs and been playing with the best quarterback that in the league right now. But yeah, he decided to stick with Pittsburgh, and I guess he's betting on himself to have another big year.
Yeah, and we'll have to see. I thought, I'm sure everyone thought, I mean, there's pretty much linked him and the Jets for like the longest time. And I heard at one point the Jets were talking to him, but
yeah, that happened as early as like yesterday, I think.
Yeah.
But then, I mean, with the Corey Davis signing, I kind of knew it was a little less likely. And then they also went and signed another guy yesterday.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, not that the second one was really that big of a deal, but yeah.
All right, that's all the re-signings we have. Now let's get to the 4 million pages of signings that we have here. So we'll start off with the Titans signing a divisional opponent here. They signed Colts defensive tackle Danico Autry, 3 years, $21.5 million, $9 million guaranteed. Underrated defensive tackle there. Pretty good when he was with Indy.
Mm-hmm.
And like you mentioned, the Jets signing wide receiver Corey Davis, 3 years, $37.5 million, $27 million guaranteed.
Mm-hmm.
Big money.
Yeah, when I first saw this deal, I was kind of iffy about it, but the more I've thought about it, the more I'm actually very excited for this because, I mean, he opens up the playbook for the Jets. He's the type of receiver that the Jets have needed for a while now. I'm not saying he was the best receiver on the market, but I think he was definitely a safe bet for the Jets because, I mean, the Juju thing, he's a slot receiver, which they have Crowder right now, so they don't really need Juju. I mean, they could have cut Crowder and signed Juju, but obviously they opted not to do that. And so they needed somebody on the outside to stretch the field a little bit. And yeah, that could have been Galladay too. But from what I've noticed so far, Joe Douglas is not the kind of guy that's going to dish out those large contracts that someone like Galladay is going to be looking for. And plus, apparently, Corey Davis is really good in play action, which the system that the Jets are going to be running is going to be heavily reliant on the play action pass. So
yeah, Corey Davis already familiar with the system, playing under Jets offense coordinator Mike LaFleur's brother, Matt LaFleur, obviously the Packers head coach for 2 years, I believe. Matt LaFleur was the Titans offensive coordinator 3 years ago.
And well, it was also kind of funny too. Kind of just like a little side thing. I saw yesterday on Facebook, but it was basically saying thank you to Adam Gase for letting the Jets sign Corey Davis. The logic was that he was so bad in Miami that they traded Ryan Tannehill to the Titans, and Tannehill helped Corey Davis kind of have his breakout year this past season. And then Adam Gase destroyed the Jets so much that they never developed any receivers, and they needed to sign a receiver. So there you go.
Okay. One quick thing before we go into more signings here. Field Yates tweeted out the NFL announced its official complete 2021 NFL draft order. The Vikings have the most picks at 11. Seahawks have the least at 3. One in the second, one in the fourth, and one in the 7th. So I don't understand why they wouldn't trade Russell Wilson. Patriots signing former Jets defensive lineman Henry Anderson. He got 2 years, $7 million with New England.
Yeah, that was a random signing to me. I didn't really understand it, but it just goes along with what we were joking about last week, that literally the Patriots are just signing everybody for no reason.
Yep.
That Belichick's dog is doing it.
Staying in division there, the Dolphins signed Bengals fullback / tight end Ethan Carter, 3 years, $8.25 million, $2.7 million guaranteed to be the new H-back for the Dolphins there. The Chargers, they signed Steelers offensive lineman Matt Filer, 3 years, $21 million there, helping protect Justin Herbert. The Titans, they signed Browns offensive tackle Kendall Lamb. He got 2 years, $8.5 million. So possibly helping to fill in at that right tackle void, Kendall Lamb. Titans also, we already said this on Monday that he signed, I believe, anyways. I don't remember if it was before Monday or not. But Bud Dupree, they signed Steelers linebacker Bud Dupree, 5 years, $85 million, massive deal for Bud Dupree coming off a torn ACL. Chris, your Jets also, their other biggest signing, defensive end Carl Lawson from the Bengals, 3 years, $45 million, $30 million guaranteed in their new 4-3 base system.
Yeah, this is another one that at first glance I was like, what are they doing? Like, I thought they were going to go after like Bud Dupree or one of the other big name guys. But the closer I looked into it, the more I was excited about this. I mean, he didn't have those flashy sack numbers. He didn't have like the big like splashy tape or whatever. But I forget if he led the league or if he was second in the league with like quarterback hits and quarterback pressures and stuff. So he gets to the line, or he gets through the line. He just, I guess he just can't finish the job, or he hasn't been able to finish the job there in Cincinnati. but I think him paired with Quinnen Williams and whoever the other uh, defensive end will end up being, uh, I think that they're going to be a force to reckon with on that defensive line.
Yeah. I believe Lawson had 5.5 sacks this past year.
Mm-hmm.
38 quarterback pressures. So
Mm-hmm.
really big numbers there in terms of pressures. I would caution, though, that Jadeveon Clowney also is a guy that usually has a lot of QB pressures as well. So I thought it was weird that Carl Lawson left Cincinnati, but then they paid more money to a different pass rusher in defensive end, Trey Hendrickson from the Saints. 4 years, $60 million, $32 million guaranteed. I love Trey Hendrickson. So, yeah.
Yeah, with that signing, I mean, the Bengals were basically paying for the sacks. I mean, granted, before this past season, Trey Hendrickson didn't really have those kind of numbers, but he had a breakout year with, I think, 13 and a half sacks this past season. So they're definitely paying for what they think he's going to be there with. I mean, is it too much to say that he could be perennially a 10 sack guy? Who knows?
Yeah, I think that the Bengals are they're building a pretty solid defense. Need to get some more defensive linemen, but they should be definitely a lot better than they were in 2020 on defense. The Texans, they signed linebacker Kevin Pierre-Louis to a 2-year, $8 million deal. Really more of a special teams guy in my mind. Can play defense if you need him to, but yeah, I would think that, again, we said this before, the Texans better have the best special teams in the league this year. They're signing all these guys that are predominantly special teams players. So,
I mean, like I said last week, they got to be good at something. They're not going to be good on offense or defense, so they might as well try to be good on special teams.
The Vikings getting a big deal done, signing Giants defensive tackle Dalvin Tomlinson, 2 years, $22 million, $20 million guaranteed. Someone referenced when this deal too, when they signed Linval Joseph from the Giants a bunch of years ago, and worked out very well for the Vikings. Linval Joseph did. So we'll see if Dalvin Tomlinson can have the same impact in Minnesota.
Yeah, I think he'll have a nice time there in Minnesota. But it was kind of funny too because I didn't even realize he was going to be a free agent. I didn't realize that he's already been in the league for 4 or 5 years. It seems like he was only in the league for like 2 or 3. But
yeah,
I think that was a very solid signing by Minnesota, and their defense is starting to look pretty good.
Washington football team, they got their new starter at quarterback for now, anyways. Ryan Fitzpatrick goes to another team. 1 year, $10 million deal there. He's going to be the starter and also compete with Taylor Heineke as well in Washington. But it was crazy. I think it was Tuesday that this deal happened. And literally it was like boom, boom, boom. The quarterbacks just went off the board right away. It's just weird that all the quarterbacks were getting signed on the same day in a matter of an hour, it felt like. The Patriots, they signed tight end Hunter Henry, 3 years, $37.5 million. 25 million guaranteed. Again, I think that the Patriots are going back to what they used to do, running double tight end sets the majority of the game. 12 and 13 personnel, probably Patriots are going to run, I would think, 80 to 85% of their offensive snaps this year. So Henry, Jonnu Smith, midfield targets for Cam Newton. The Bengals.
I was just gonna say I'm not looking forward to playing against the Patriots this year because it'll be, I mean, as long as Cam Newton ends up actually being a decent quarterback this year, it'll be just like the old days with Gronk and even when Aaron Hernandez was there as his tight end too there, because those two guys that they signed are very good tight ends.
Yeah, Henry supposedly going to be the blocker, the more often than not, and Johnny more of the receiver. But both can definitely catch the ball. The Bengals, they signed Cowboys corner Chidobe Awuzie, 3 years, $21.75 million. He gets $9.25 million in the first year. Again, like I said, the Bengals are starting to build a pretty solid defense with some of their free agents. They just need to get some production out of draftees, and they should be at least middle of the pack in the NFL. The Jags, they signed Panthers tight end Chris Manhertz to a 2-year, $7.25 million deal, $4.25 million guaranteed. Really just a blocker, H-back kind of guy. Manhertz is will help out with the running game and James Robinson there in Jacksonville. Jags also signed Ravens D-end Jihad Ward, solid rotational pass rusher there. And also, I think their biggest get this free agency for Jacksonville, signing away Seahawks corner Shaquille Griffin, $44.5 million, $29 million guaranteed there. I heard Seattle tried very hard to keep Shaquille. Couldn't get it done, though.
Yeah. And I also heard, could be rumors, I don't know, but I heard that his brother could be joining him down in Jacksonville too. I don't know how true that was or if that was just wishful thinking, but yeah.
Yeah. Shaquem, I don't know if he's going to go to the Jags. I thought I heard something about him and the Dolphins, but I'm not sure. I mean, Shaquem hasn't really been that great since he entered the league as a 5th-round pick in 2018, I believe it was.
Yeah.
All right. The Cowboys, they also signed corner CJ Goodwin, 2 years, $3.5 million, $2 million guaranteed there. The Jags, again, going back to that, they signed Steelers nose tackle Tyson Alu to a 2-year, $6 million deal. He is now back in Jacksonville, where he was a former first-round pick of the Jags there. So big loss by the Steelers, though. I think Tyson Alu was really good nose tackle for the Steelers the last couple of years. The Texans signed Patriots defensive end Derek Rivers, 1 year, $1.3 million. Nothing special really there. Derek Rivers not that great. But again, it's just New England connections all over the league, getting signed wherever those people. So another big loss from the Steelers goes to an interdivision rival there. Bengals signing Steelers corner Mike Hilton, 4 years, $24 million, $8.5 million in the first year. Mike Hilton, the best slot blitzing corner that there is in the NFL. The Giants, they signed fullback Colin Gillespie, formerly of the Texans. The Browns signing defensive end Tack McKinley to a 1 year, $6 million deal. Tried with the Raiders last year. didn't really get on the field. So we'll see if he can be the bookend to Myles Garrett this year.
Yeah. I mean, I'm still kind of rooting for him because, yeah, he was one of the guys drafted there in Philadelphia, right? When we were there,
Yeah.
I believe. So, yeah.
8th overall, I believe it was, the Falcons.
But,
Or
wait,
no, that was Christian McCaffrey. Never mind. I don't know. 15th.
He was the hometown kid there, right? Or was that Hassan Reddick?
Hassan Reddick.
Okay. I don't know why I get those two mixed up sometimes.
At the Temple.
But yeah, still, I think that I mean, I kind of have a little bit of a soft spot for all those guys that were drafted on the night that we were there, just because of the fact that we were there. I wish that they could all be like Hall of Famers, but obviously that can't happen. But yeah, I look forward to seeing what he can do on that Browns defensive line.
The Cowboys, they signed Bills offensive lineman Ty Nsekhe to a 1-year deal. His best seasons came in Washington. I remember him in his Washington days. The Giants signing an intriguing wide receiver, John Ross, 1 year, $2.5 million, $1 million guaranteed with New York. Speed for days for the Giants, but
I mean, they need somebody that can catch the ball.
Can he stay on the field though? That's
yeah. And I don't really know where he fits in though on their current depth chart. And I mean, it might be even worse for him if they do end up signing Galladay, because I don't see him being above I think he's at best the 3 without Galladay. So
yeah, I have no idea what the Giants depth chart at receiver is right now.
I mean, I would think that Shepard and why am I blanking on the other guy? I'm totally blanking on the other guy now. I have him on our Dynasty League too. I can't remember. Oh, Slayton.
Yeah.
I would think that those two are the starting 2 receivers for them right now. So, yeah, John Ross has a lot of work to do if he wants to stay on the team and actually make an impact.
The Bears, we already said this, but they signed Cowboys quarterback Andy Dalton to a 1-year, $10 million deal. But before they did that, they made a very aggressive push for Russell Wilson. And literally, it was funny because Rappaport said the day before the Bears signed Andy Dalton was when John Schneider decided, no, we're not trading Russell Wilson. It took this whole time, this whole offseason, until, what was it? Like Monday. John Schneider was like, no, we're not trading. But from what I heard, the offer from the Bears, 3 firsts, 1 third, and 2 starting players. I mean, that's you get all your Jamal Adams picks back plus players.
Yeah, and I heard that the 2 players were going to be Fuller, and I think the other one was Akeem Hicks. So those are 2 solid defensive players to be getting in return for that. I don't know why they wouldn't do that. I mean, obviously Russell Wilson is one of the better quarterbacks in this league, but it doesn't matter if the rest of the team is terrible. And they need a better team around Wilson, which I don't think they could do with having him on the team.
And only 3 draft picks this year.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No one knows what the Bears are doing either in the future. So
they're going to re-sign Trubisky after next year once he's had a year under his belt behind Josh Allen.
Like I said, the quarterback news was flying
Mm-hmm.
Tuesday here. The Texans got their supposed starter this year in quarterback Tyrod Taylor, $12.5 million.
If Tyrod does end up starting, that'll last all of like 2 games before he somehow gets hurt or loses the job somehow, because that's what's happened in every single one of his stops so far.
Yeah,
so it's
well,
going to happen again.
I know that the only way that he would lose his job if he was the starter would be to a rookie quarterback, and that would mean obviously that Deshaun is traded. And Texans would get a early first round pick, supposedly from the Panthers, anyways. At number 8 overall. The Jags got a wide receiver for Trevor Lawrence, signing Lions wide receiver Marvin Jones, 2 years, $14.5 million, $9.2 million fully guaranteed. Joins DJ Chark company down in Jacksonville.
Mm-hmm.
Another quarterback that got signed, the Dolphins get their backup to Tua, replacing Ryan Fitzpatrick with Colts quarterback Jacoby Brissett. 1 year, $5 million there. Very team friendly.
Mm-hmm.
The Titans, they replaced Adoree Jackson with Saints corner Janoris Jenkins. Jack Rabbit has a new home now. The Dolphins, they signed the other Malcolm Brown, the running back Malcolm Brown. It's just another running back. I don't know. The Dolphins don't seem to have a plan at that position. They just keep signing free agents every year and hope that it works out. Yet, considering, well, I can only think of one right now for some reason, but Matt Breida didn't work. Granted, he was a trade from the Niners last year. Chris, your Jets signed a new special teams player, Justin Hardy, 3-year deal there.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like an insignificant signing, but apparently he's one of the better special teams guys around right now. So I'm excited to see what he can do. And I don't think he's really going to play outside of special teams, but he is a cornerback. So, I mean, you never know.
One of the best special team or punt gunners that there is.
Mm-hmm.
The Seahawks signing away Niners corner Akello Witherspoon, 1 year, $4 million fully guaranteed, replacing Shaq Griffin. The Bills, I thought this was a big one. They signed wide receiver Emmanuel Sanders, 1 year, $6 million. I mean, they replaced John Brown with Emmanuel Sanders.
Yeah, I mean, Sanders isn't what he used to be with the Steelers or with the Broncos. I mean, he showed that he could still play a little bit last year when he was basically the number 1 receiver for most of the year.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what he can do with the Bills, because I think he'll be. I don't know if he's going to be the number 2 or the number 3 behind Beasley. But I think if he's not the focus, I think he'll have a better year.
Yeah, I mean, I think regardless, they're going to run 3 wide receiver sets a lot of the time. So he should be on the field for 60 to 70% of the snaps, I would think. The Texans, another Texans signing. What's new? Signed Browns corner Terrence Mitchell, 2 years, $7.5 million deal. Kind of a big loss for the Browns in a secondary that needs help, anyways. Washington football team got a good signing here. They signed corner William Jackson, 3 years, $42 million, $26 million guaranteed. One of the top corners on the market. that originally was moving slow kind of picked up a little bit in the midweek. The Lions, they signed away Packers running back Jamal Williams, 2 years, $7.5 million deal. I was kind of surprised when I saw that late night, one night this week.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, the Packers did just make that huge deal with Aaron Jones, so I was kind of expecting Williams to leave, but I think I was more surprised that it was with the Lions than him actually leaving.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, gonna be a pretty good tandem with him and DeAndre Swift there in Detroit.
And well, does this now spell the end for
Carry on.
Yeah,
I have no idea.
I mean, it's only a 2-year deal, so it's a short deal, but
yeah,
they clearly thought that they needed help at running back.
The Niners got their new center after Weston Richburg retired, signing Falcons center Alex Mack, 3 years, $14.85 million, $5.6 million guaranteed. I wasn't sure how many years Alex Mack had left because I'm pretty sure he's already 35 years old.
Yeah, I was thinking that too, because he's like you said, he's an older player, so I was not expecting him to get a long-term deal like he did. I mean, 3 years isn't that much, and it's less than $5 million a year, but yeah, I was expecting him to sign a 1, maybe 2-year deal, but the 49ers loading up on the offensive line here.
Yeah, definitely need to protect Jimmy G or whoever their quarterback is. Raiders talked about John Brown leaving Buffalo. John Brown goes to Vegas. $3.75 million. He's going to replace Nelson Aguilar as their speedster and downfield threat for Derek Carr.
I mean, I don't really know which one of the two of them I'd rather have on the team. I don't think either one of them's all that spectacular. So,
but you better draft him in fantasy. Derek Carr loves to throw the ball deep.
Yeah, but I don't know.
I think he can actually catch the ball though.
Yeah, that's true.
Nelson probably dropped at least 3 or 4 touchdowns this year.
That's true.
The Dolphins, they signed Lions corner Justin Coleman, 1 year, $2.75 million, and also Patriots defensive tackle Adam Butler, 2 years, $9.5 million there, just bolstering an already good defense.
Mm-hmm.
Next one kind of surprised me. Cardinals, they signed wide receiver AJ Green, 1 year, $8.5 million, $6 million guaranteed. Pretty much knew his time was over in Cincinnati. But I didn't know why it was the Cardinals that signed him.
I mean, the only thing I could think of is that they now aren't planning on re-signing Fitzgerald. I mean, I know there's still a possibility, but they're already pretty deep at wide receiver. They still have Christian Kirk, and they still have Andy Isabella, and there's one other guy I think they have. I can't think of it, but yeah, they're pretty deep there at receiver. So I think that this is just essentially a replacement for Fitzgerald.
Yeah, they also have Keyshawn Johnson as well. Not the Keyshawn.
That'd be kind of interesting if he suited up for an NFL team right now.
The current player, Keyshawn Johnson. The Panthers, I thought these two signings were very, very good signings by Scott Fitter, the GM there. They signed Chargers linebacker Denzel Perriman, as well as Cardinals linebacker Hassan Reddick, 1 year, $8 million for Reddick. Don't have the details on Perriman's deal. But yeah, I thought both of those were very good signings there. Reddick was kind of weird though, considering I think he's best in a 3-4, and the Panthers run a 4-3 base. So, but obviously Reddick has the Temple connection with Matt Rule, was very good at Temple when Matt Rule was the head coach there. So it'd be interesting to see if he puts his hand in the dirt or if he just rushes from a standing 2-point stance in the 4-3. Because I think Brian Burns does that anyways. Sometimes I think Brian Burns rushes from a 2-point stance sometimes anyways. So
yeah,
definitely can be done. The Texans, another special team signing here, signing Browns linebacker / special teamer Tay Davis. Raiders, they signed defensive lineman Solomon Thomas, 1-year, $5 million deal. The former number 2 overall pick gets, or number 3. I believe is number 3 because that was our draft year. Billy Solomon Thomas, number 3 to the Niners after trading back with the Bears. But yeah, gets a new change of scenery. Didn't work out in San Francisco. Moves down the bay to, or not down to the bay.
Yeah, not anymore.
I was thinking of Oakland. Yeah, just moves a little bit though to Vegas. Couple hours to Vegas there. The Chiefs, Kyle Long has a home. It is in Kansas City. 1-year, $5 million deal. And I didn't really understand the move, especially now that they said that they're working on a new deal for center Austin Reiter. Because now they have 3 starting guards in Kyle Long, Laurent Duvernay-Tardif when he comes back from his opt-out, and Joe Thuney now. And I would expect Duvernay-Tardif and Thuney to be the starting guards.
Yeah. I mean, you kind of just said it right there. I think that Kyle Long was more of just a depth signing because we saw how bad their line was at the end of last year with all the injuries that they had. So I think that they mainly just signed Long as a backup / rotational player. Because, I mean, I don't know how old he is, but I'd assume that taking the year off would kind of hinder him a little bit. So I don't think they expected him to come in and play like 90% of the snaps on the offensive line.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I could think of, because they still don't have a left tackle after releasing Eric Fisher. So out of those 3 guards, I think the guy that I would think that could play tackle the best would probably be Duvernay-Tardif. We'll have to see if they want to put one of those guys outside or not. But, you know, we'll have to wait and see for that. So, or they could still draft a tackle.
And I mean, the other thing too is I don't know if there was a certain deadline or whatever, for like, or if there's even the option for this year for players to opt out. But yeah, I don't know. I think that like because of how important his job has been outside of football with Duvernay-Tardif there, I don't know if he's gonna want to come back. I think it'll depend on how everything is going by that point. But like I said, I don't know if there's any sort of opt-out clause or anything for this year.
Yeah, I have not heard anything about that yet, but yeah, the guy that comes to mind though is Tevin Jenkins out of Oklahoma State, possibly late in the first round there at the Chiefs' 31st overall selection. The Panthers also had another signing, Rams defensive lineman Morgan Fox, 2 years, $8.1 million, $7 million guaranteed there. Good rotational pass rusher for the Rams, and now for the Panthers. Raiders, I thought good signing by Mayock here. They got Bills defensive lineman Quentin Jefferson, probably going to be a starter, I would think.
Mhm.
Anyways, that
Yeah.
one of the D tackle spots there.
Yeah, I definitely like that signing. Means he's not a Bill anymore, so that's not the deal with him.
Cardinals, I was surprised the Lions let Matt Prater get away, but the Cardinals got him. He is their new kicker, 2 years, $7 million there in Arizona. Seahawks signing away tight end Gerald Everett from the Rams, 1 year, $7 million, $6 million guaranteed there. And I mean, they needed a tight end anyways, with Olsen retiring.
Mhm.
Another guy we'll talk about went other place. Washington football team, they signed Panthers wide receiver Curtis Samuel, 3 years, $34.5 million. And that one confused me. Obviously, he has the Ron Rivera ties,
Mhm.
but I personally think Curtis Samuel is the same player that is Terry McLaurin. They're both slot guys, theoretically. I mean, McLaurin can play outside too, but I don't know. They're both Ohio State guys, so they've been teammates before. So I don't know. I just thought it was weird that Curtis Samuel was signed by Washington.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of liked the signing when it first came out because, I mean, like you said, there's the Ron Rivera connection there, and I mean, other than McLaurin, the Washington football team doesn't really have any other receivers. Yeah, if they're the same type of receiver, it's whatever. But like you said, McLaurin can move to the outside and play on the outside a little bit. So I think that this is actually a good deal for Washington. Now they just have to figure out their long-term plan at quarterback.
Yeah, definitely. Another Texan signing here, signing Brown corner Tavir Thomas to a 2-year deal. The Vikings, I thought this was an interesting one. They signed corner Patrick Peterson, 1 year, $10 million deal. I did not think he was going to leave Arizona because originally he had posted a pic on Instagram that made it seem like he was re-signing with the Cardinals. But he goes to Minnesota instead.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that I'm interested to see if that kind of rejuvenates him a little bit because he's been on the decline the last couple of years. So I'm interested to see if the change of scenery really helps him, especially with all these other moves that the Vikings have been doing. So he won't be like the centerpiece anymore, like he was in Arizona.
Well, I mean, they do have Mike Hughes. I can't think of who else they have at corner. So obviously he's going to start.
Yeah.
We'll have to see if him or Mike Hughes locks up number ones or not. Another Patriots signing. Signing Dolphins linebacker Kyle Van Noy back in New England now. 2 years, $13.2 million now for Van Noy. I thought that was a good deal for him, anyways. Patriots also signed Packers defensive lineman Montravius Adams, 1 year, $2.5 million deal with New England.
It's still so weird to me that the Patriots have signed so many people. Like they've never done this as long as I can remember, at least under Belichick. And now they're signing pretty much everybody they can.
Again, they have 79 players right now out of a possible 90, and they still have 9 draft picks.
Uh-huh.
They only have 1 roster spot left for free agents right now.
And yeah, I mean, I'm hoping that the trend continues, but history has shown that the biggest spenders in free agency don't tend to really do that well.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that trend continues here with the Patriots, but we'll see.
Dolphins got a big time receiver here, signing Will Fuller, 1 year, $10 million deal. He is eligible to play in week 2 after serving the last game of his 6-game suspension.
See, this deal also kind of confused me. Kind of like the same thing with the Juju one. I thought there was going to be a bigger market for those kind of guys, because I mean the wide receiver position, all like at the whole beginning of the offseason was so hyped up about how many good players there were and stuff. But yeah, him and Juju they got 1-year deals for a total of $18 million between the two of them. And I mean, I know Fuller has like the suspension or whatever, but it's only for the first game. And yeah, I mean, I know he also has like kind of the injury risk and stuff, but I thought that he was going to get at least a multi-year deal somewhere, but who knows?
Yeah, Corey Davis, Curtis Samuel leading the receivers in free agent money right now. Yeah, I thought it was like for sure the Packers, considering they tried to trade for him at the deadline last year.
Mm-hmm.
And seeing him only get $10 million on 1 year, I thought that was very affordable. Granted, the Packers don't have much money either, so especially after the Aaron Jones deal. So the Giants, they signed tight end Kyle Rudolph, 2 years, $14 million deal there. Maybe some 2 tight end sets being increased in the playbook this coming year for the Giants with Evan Ingram and Kyle Rudolph. Lions, they signed Falcons defensive end Charles Harris, a former first-round pick, the Dolphins, as well as Packers backup quarterback Tim Boyle. That means Jordan Love's clear number 2 right now in Green Bay. So, and that Tim Boyle now replaces Chase Daniel as Jared Goff's backup this year. So the Bengals, they signed Browns defensive lineman Larry Ogunjobi to a 1-year deal. I would have liked to see how much he got on that deal, because I thought Larry Ogunjobi was pretty good, but only a 1-year deal in Cincinnati. Seems like the Bengals are just signing all their division's free agents. And then they get a couple from other teams. But let's see. The Bears, they signed Cardinals defensive lineman Angelo Blackson to a 2-year deal. Underrated defensive lineman from originally in Denver, I believe, as far as I can remember. Giants, they have their new backup quarterback, Alex Tanney, retiring, signing Mike Glennon now. So, yeah. I'm trying to remember where Mike Glennon was last year.
Wasn't he with Jacksonville?
Was it? That's what I thought.
I believe it was Jacksonville.
So, yeah. Daniel Jones is a new backup. Anyways, Eagles signing safety Andrew Adams, Super Bowl champion Andrew Adams with the Bucs here.
Wow, the Bucs actually let somebody go.
Dolphins, they have their new center. They signed Ravens center Matt Skira to a 1-year deal there. Good luck with Quinnen Williams. The Raiders, talked about this a little bit earlier, the running back market. They signed running back Kenyon Drake, 2 years, $11 million deal. I feel sorry for whoever has Josh Jacobs in dynasty leagues.
Yeah, he'll take a little bit of a hit, but
especially in the pass game.
Yeah. But it'll be interesting to see like the distribution of touches between them.
Definitely. Chargers signed tight end Jared Cook, 1 year, $6 million deal, $4.5 million fully guaranteed, replacing Hunter Henry. And I don't know, Jared Cook's been pretty good wherever he's went so far in his career. So,
I mean, he had a little bit of a shaky year last year for the Saints, but
he wasn't playing with Drew Brees the whole year.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to say he lost the game for the Saints against the Buccaneers, but he was a big part of that because one of the interceptions went right through his hands. But I mean, if he can clean up those drop passes and stuff, he'll be a pretty good target for Justin Herbert there.
Yeah, definitely. Panthers, they also signed corner Rashawn Melvin, former Colt. The mentioned earlier that Lane Taylor, the Packers guard, was visiting with the Niners today. It was Rappaport says it was mostly just a medical check because he is 5 months out from his torn ACL that he had last year. So, yeah, the Niners probably aren't going to sign him right now, but possibly down the road there. One guy that did get signed, though, was Browns signing Rams corner Troy Hill, 4 years, $24 million there, as the Browns try to revamp their secondary. Desperately needed that help there. And your Jets, Chris, signing Jags wide receiver Keelan Cole, 1 year, $5.5 million there.
Mm-hmm. That signing was a little puzzling to me. I mean, he's had flashes in the past, and it's only a 1 year deal. But if you're going to give a guy a 1 year deal for that much, why not try to pursue somebody like the Will Fuller or Juju or I don't know. But yeah, I think that this will just end up being a similar situation to the Rashad Perriman thing that from this past season. He'll probably play for the Jets this year. He might not see the field much either because I think at the moment he'll be the number 4 receiver. So I don't know. I think it's more of just a depth signing than anything.
I don't know. Well, let's see. I think Keelan Cole could have something for the Jets fans this year. Also, another offensive lineman signing with the Jets, Chris. Chargers guard Dan Feeney. Yeah. Another guy to protect whoever the quarterback is.
Well, it's funny though because when he was signed, whenever that was, Rich Samini, the Jets reporter, he put out the depth chart, and it was basically the same 5 starters from last year. And Dan Feeney was slotted in as the backup center as opposed to a guard, which was kind of interesting to see, but who knows?
Yeah, he can play both. The Panthers signed Seahawks wide receiver David Moore, 2 years, $4.75 million, $1.25 million guaranteed. Former 7th rounder of the Seahawks, and the Panthers reporter on Twitter that I follow, Panthers Bill, he said there's a draft prospect out of Grambling State, offensive tackle. Name is also David Moore. He said, I would love the Panthers just to draft him to see what they do with 3D Moore jerseys, including obviously their wide receiver, DJ Moore.
Mm-hmm. Any chance that DJ Moore's name is David?
I have no idea. I have no clue what DJ stands for in DJ Moore's first name. Another Carolina to Washington connection here. The Washington football team signed Panthers center Tyler Larson, good backup center, going to be backing up Chase Rouillet. for Washington. Lions signing a Jack Chris wide receiver Brashad Perriman, 1 year, $3 million deal.
I mean, I kind of alluded to this a couple minutes ago, but I don't think there was any chance for Perriman to come back because he didn't really do much for the Jets this year. I think the Jets had kind of signed him hoping that he would have the kind of production that he did with the Buccaneers down the stretch a couple years ago, but clearly it didn't work out for the Jets, and now he signed another 1 year prove-it deal. So it'll be interesting to see if he and Jared Goff can make a connection.
Still feeling the effects of losing Robbie Anderson, Chris. I know it still hurts.
I mean, hopefully it's over now with Davis and Mims, and who knows.
Texans, they signed corner Desmond King to a 1 year, $3.5 million deal, trying to idolize his career after a not so good year, getting traded from the Chargers to the Titans, not playing very well for the Titans. The Titans did get their own corner, though, signing Browns corner Kevin Johnson to a 1 year deal. He is back in the AFC South after getting drafted in the first round by the Texans a few seasons ago. So played very well for the Browns. So we'll have to see if we can help a very, very poor Titans secondary. The Raiders got their replacement for Rodney Hudson, signing Texans center Nick Martin. He has started in four seasons for the Texans before getting signed by the Raiders. The Lions had their replacement for Matt Prater. They have signed Bengals kicker Randy Bullock, longtime Bengals kicker Randy Bullock. The Giants, they signed Chiefs linebacker Reggie Ragland to a 1 year deal as well. Another signing for your Jets, Chris, getting Raiders D-back LaMarcus Joyner 1 year, $4.5 million deal.
Yeah, I was excited about this one because obviously the Jets need help in the secondary, and he's a flexible guy. He could play corner or safety, but from what I've read, he's going to be the safety right now.
Yeah,
alongside Marcus May.
Yeah, I heard he wants to. Robert Saleh's defense will allow him to go back to playing free safety, which is what he likes to do. Putting Marcus May in that strong safety box type role that Jamal Adams used to play. Which I think is better anyways. I don't think personally that Marcus May is a coverage type safety.
I mean, he did just fine last year, but we'll see how things work out.
That's new. Another couple Texans signings. Two more wide receivers going to Houston. Dante Moncrief and Alex Erickson, both on 1 year deals. Like I said, another special teams guy, Alex Erickson, one of the best punt returners in the league. So I don't even remember where Dante Moncrief was last year. Alex Erickson, long time angle.
I know Moncrief spent a couple of weeks on the Jets, but I don't think he ever actually saw the field with the Jets. So.
Yeah, I have no clue. Colts possibly. I don't know though. Speaking of the Colts, they signed defensive end Isaac Rochelle to a 1 year, $2.5 million deal, getting defensive line depth there. What's new? Texans special teams. Texans special teams. They signed one of the best punters out there, Cam Johnston from the Eagles. 3 years, $8 million, $3 million guaranteed. Just an absolute monster of a leg. Yeah, you're lucky, Texans fans, that you will be playing great special teams all year. Before I go to that one with the Bengals, considering there's another Texan signing under it, I'll just go back to the Texans. They signed offensive lineman Cole Toner to a 1 year deal. Great signing by them, I would say. I can't even not laugh about Texan signings. The Bengals, they have their new right tackle. Signing Vikings offense tackle Riley Reef, 1 year, $7.5 million, $5.5 million guaranteed. Massive signing for Joe Burrow in Cincinnati. I say right tackle. Riley Reef is a career left tackle, but from what I have been seeing, people want Riley Reef to slide over right side, still have Penei Sewell at number 5 overall. So,
well, and don't they still have? Wasn't it a left tackle that they drafted a couple of years ago, like Jonah Williams or whatever?
yeah, they do. But I think he's better at guard. I think that was the plan, anyways. Originally, was to get Sewell left tackle, slide Williams either to right tackle or to guard. And now that they have Reef, I think Jonah Williams would slide into one of the guard spots, which I think would definitely help solidify the interior. They signed Patriots linebacker Brandon Copeland to a 1-year deal. Familiar with him, I know. Kenny Galladay's visit in New York has ended, and apparently it went well. But he has left the building. The Giants let him leave, so he is not signed yet with the Giants, but they will stay in contact. The Browns, I think, very underrated signing here. Getting Colts linebacker Anthony Walker, 1 year, $3.5 million deal. Like I said, I think that's very good signing for Cleveland. Patriots, the Patriots-Dolphins thing just keeps going back and forth. They signed Dolphins linebacker Raekwon McMillan. I don't know why I put Raekwon Alexander on the sheet. McMillan to a 1-year deal there. Like I said, Dolphins, Patriots, they just keep signing their players back and forth. And then occasionally one will go to Houston. The Bills, they signed Seahawks tight end Jacob Hollister on a 1-year deal. The Jets also getting a tight end today, signing Bills tight end Tyler Kroft to a 1-year deal. And then finally, the last one, I swear, this is the last one. The Bears, they signed Lions corner Desmond Trufant to a 1-year deal.
Well, we're not completely done. There's not been a signing, but I just, as I was scrolling Twitter, I saw that apparently Falcons free agent safety Keanu Neal is deciding between the Cowboys and the Jets. So looks like it's down to one of those two teams for his services.
I would have a hard time thinking it would be the Jets at this point with LaMarcus Joyner signing.
Well, that was only posted like a half hour, 45 minutes ago. So
unless Robert Saleh is going to run 3 safety sets.
I don't know.
Or put Joyner. At
the nickel.
Back in the nickel where he said he doesn't want to play.
I don't know, but it'll be interesting to see if that see what happens with that in the next couple of days. We'll probably have the official answer on. Well, actually, I don't know. Maybe we'll have the official answer on Monday's show.
All right. Now that we finally got through that 2.5 hours of NFL news, let's talk about the FCS games this weekend. First one, top 25 matchup here. Number 11 Chattanooga at number 13 Furman. I have no clue why Furman is a 5.5-point favorite, considering they've almost lost the last 2 weeks. So I'm picking Chattanooga regardless. I know we don't do picks because we're afraid of having bad records in the FCS games. But personally, I think I'd do all right if we had done picks. But I don't know how you feel if you would have done picks, Chris.
I mean, I think I would have done all right, but if 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 the the fall season rankings and standings were anything, I'm not that great at picking the college games. So
Yeah, like I said, I have Chattanooga in my parlay this weekend. Unfortunately, my basketball parlay has already lost uh, with Georgia Tech. Did not expect Georgia Tech to be the one that lost me my parlay.
oh, it wasn't the Ohio State game.
No, no, no. That one I just needed for my bracket. But yeah, the Georgia Tech losing to Loyola Chicago with Sister Jean at 101 years old. Um, yeah, not doing very well right now. But I do have my FCS parlay here. Like I said, Chattanooga is the first leg in that parlay. This one is over under is very low, 37 points here. I really don't know which way this one should go. Chattanooga not scoring a lot here. 24 and 25 in their two wins, only 10 in their only loss. That loss came in the fall to Western Kentucky, 13-10. Furman, they have scored 35 against Western Carolina, 44 against Samford. But their other two games, one was their loss to VMI, which they only scored 13. And then they barely beat East Tennessee State last week, only scoring 17 points. So, again, I like Chattanooga. Pretty scrappy team there.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go to the first of there's two games of the week this week. My beloved Jackrabbits of South Dakota State. I mean, my lord, Southern Illinois is putting in quite the season right now. 2 top 5 wins over number 1 North Dakota State and number 4 Northern Iowa last week. Another tough one. Luckily, it's at home for Southern Illinois. I do have South Dakota State winning this game. That is in the parlay as well. It's going to be a good game. I can tell you that. Southern Illinois has a fantastic defense. I just think South Dakota State has a lot on offense that they're going to outscore Southern Illinois' offense because Southern Illinois' offense is not that good. But yeah. I forgot to say Chattanooga Furman 12 o'clock on ESPN Plus. South Dakota State, obviously 3-point favorite there. Over under is 44 for this one. And that it's another tough one. And I'm probably going to say it gets close, but just under. Again, Southern Illinois' defense is really good.
Mm-hmm.
1 p.m. ESPN Plus. I will be watching that one for sure. Next one here, Dixie State at number 9, Kennesaw State. Kennesaw getting 18.5 points here. And I really don't have much to say about this game. Dixie State has been confusing all year. They're an independent, so they don't. This is, one of their games that they got, luckily, to fill a 6-game schedule out. But, they played Tarleton State twice, beat them the first time, got blown out the second time by 22, lost by 7 to New Mexico State. So we'll see. I mean, I think Kennesaw State runs away with it with their triple option game that they run. So
Hmm.
whether you take the 18.5, I don't know. I'm not sure.
I don't know if I would go that far. I never really like to. I I don't ever really think that triple options teams score that much. So yeah, I definitely think that they win this one, but probably not by 3 scores.
Well, if they're breaking off 20-yard runs every 4 plays, and then just chip in a 50-yard touchdown here and there. Over under is 44.5, Chris. So I know you don't like that.
You know, I don't like anything like I really don't like these low over unders, but if I mean we've been proven wrong pretty much every time it's been low, so why not take the under on, or yeah, take the under on this one.
1 p.m. ESPN Plus. Let's go to the CAA game here. Colonial Athletic Association, Rhode Island, coming off massive win over Villanova last week in overtime. They head to face number 18 Albany. Albany coming off a loss to Maine. And URI. I mean, I was kind of surprised URI wasn't ranked considering they beat Villanova this week, but still have to prove themselves. So I was also surprised that Rhode Island is favored against a ranked team on the road.
Um,
Remains to be seen. I have been wrong before. They are actually a 3-point favorite now.
well, it's weird though. Like I think that they are favorited because of the way that these two teams played last weekend. But again, like you said, I don't know why they aren't ranked then. But yeah, I based on how they both played last weekend, I would agree with Rhode Island being the favorite.
Yeah, I don't trust Albany considering they let me down in my parlay last week, not covering 7 points against Maine. So go Rhode Island. Over under very high, 62.5 here. I know Rhode Island can score, not so sure about Albany, but Rhode Island gave up quite a bunch of points last week to Villanova, so wouldn't be surprised if it goes over. If it goes to overtime, it for sure is going over. Take the under, though.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I would take the under.
1 p.m. for that game. One of the surprising stories of the year. Number 19 VMI, undefeated, 3-0, heading to Samford. Samford, again, I have said this before, they are very scrappy. I like the Samford Bulldogs, but I cannot take them over VMI. VMI is streaking right now. Their 3 wins, Furman, Western Carolina, Mercer, Western Carolina, not good. But, I think Samford will give them definitely give them a tough game. I just hope that VMI can outscore Samford because Samford definitely has proven they can put up some points, scoring 17, 55, 37, and 37 in their 4 games. So, yeah.
So yeah, but who have Samford played so far in their 4 games?
They lost to East Tennessee week 1. They destroyed Western Carolina, who we already know sucks. Lost in overtime 2 weeks ago to Furman, and then just beat Wofford this past week. So,
yeah. So, I mean, these 2 teams have played similar opponents, and it looks like VMI has obviously come out better than Samford there. But Yeah, I think I'd have to agree with you. I think the VMI wins this one in a close game.
Yeah, Sanford 3-point favorite at home here. Wouldn't be surprised if they do win. Like I said, they fight. But yeah, I like VMI here. Over under again high 63 in this one.
I mean, you said Sanford can score, but what about VMI? Have they scored a lot?
I don't like the over in this one. I definitely like the under. They've scored their last two games 30 and 41, but again, it was against Western Carolina and Mercer, so not very high quality opponents there, scoring a lot of points. So
I think I'll get close to it, but yeah, I don't ever like taking the over for high scores, so I would say under for this one too.
and I am about to freaking cry because of what Adam Schefter and Ian Rappaport just reported. The Eagles are signing safety Anthony Harris, 1
Wow.
year, $5 million deal, massive safety get secondary addition for the Eagles to go alongside Rodney McLeod coming off a torn ACL. I believe Rodney McLeod tore last year. So, yeah, big get for the Eagles.
Yeah, that'll help them, especially if the Giants end up signing Galladay, and
for sure.
And the fact that Washington already signed Curtis Samuel, and we already know the receivers in Dallas. So
yeah, need all the defensive help they can get. All right, this one is 1 p.m. on ESPN Plus. Another top 25 matchup here. Number 16, Southeastern Louisiana, 3-point favorite at number 22, Incarnate Word. Incarnate Word coming off a postponed game, so they did not play last week. Or actually, no, they just had a bye, I think. Yeah, they just had a bye last week, so. But Southeastern Louisiana coming off a 3-point win over Western State. Not sure what Southeastern Louisiana is really. And I kind of like Incarnate Word in this one. This one is not in my parlay. But yeah, Southeastern has played all three of their games have been close. So I expect this one to be the same.
Yeah.
But I think I like Incarnate Word in this one.
Yeah, I was thinking that too.
Because Southeastern, the only common opponent they have is McNeese State, and Incarnate Word blew out McNeese State 48-20. Southeastern only beat McNeese 25-20. So I like the Cardinals.
Mm-hmm.
This one.
I don't really like these spreads though. They're only like all but one have been -3 so far.
Yeah.
So are they all supposed to be close games? Like
top 25s, man. Top 25 matchups.
That is true.
Over under, another massive over under 65.5. And actually, I like that. I like the over. Give it to me. Give me points in this one. Both teams can score. Oh, another free agent nugget dropping. The Seahawks re-signing Chris Carson. 2 years, $14.625 million.
Huh. I wonder if that's going to now open the floodgates for the running back market.
Let's hope so. All right, let's go. This one here is 3 p.m. ESPN Plus. All right, we get to the second game of the week here. And this one is I'm so giddy for this game and the other one that I said already. Bro, like you don't even know. Battle of North Dakota, number 2 North Dakota at number 4 North Dakota State. The Bison are getting 3.5 here. And In my parlay, I went with North Dakota. I believe Tommy Schuster, those two running backs, Luke Skokna, Otis Weah, will get the job done against North Dakota State. Zeb Nolan has not proven to me that they can effectively beat good opponents. So I like North Dakota to beat North Dakota State and hand them their second loss of the year.
Yeah, this one, I think this will probably be the most exciting game of the week. Well, I guess it depends on how you look at it because, like, looking on the script here, it's one of the lowest over unders of the week, and if you're into defense, then this is a game for you. But if you like offense, I don't know if this one's one for you. But yeah, I like North Dakota in this one too. And well, for your parlay, do they have to win or do they just have to cover?
Win. I took money line plus 135.
Well, I think that they do come out with a win on this one.
Yeah, and that's the thing. North Dakota State is kind of I would compare North Dakota State to Northern Iowa. In the spring, they haven't scored that much. The most they've scored is 25 twice. And I think North Dakota is already a lot more battle tested than North Dakota State is, anyways, because North Dakota beat Southern Illinois, who beat North Dakota State and beat Northern Iowa. And then North Dakota also beat South Dakota State. So those are two marquee wins that North Dakota State doesn't have one marquee win this year. Their best win, 25-0 2 weeks ago against Missouri State. So they barely beat Illinois State last week by 8 points with Cam Miller, the backup quarterback, coming in and running for the game-killing score to make it an 8-point game. So, yeah, I have no confidence in North Dakota State's offense. Their defense is still very good. I agree. But I think North Dakota's offense is a lot better, and they can match up with the defense. I think Zeb Noland, if he starts, I don't even know if he's going to be a starter. Whether it's Cam Miller or Zeb Noland, I think if it's Zeb Noland, he's going to throw two interceptions, and then Cam Miller will play the rest of the game. But, yeah. Over under 36.5. That's so tough because I think obviously I already said North Dakota State hasn't been able to score very much. North Dakota, they scored 44 against Southern Illinois, 28 against South Dakota State, 21 against South Dakota, and then 38 against Western Illinois. They gave up 21 against Western Illinois. I didn't think they were going to do that because they didn't cover last week, 17.5, I think it was, or 18.5, something like that, against Western Illinois. So they did give up more points than I thought they would last week. So I wouldn't be surprised if this goes over. But we've seen that low over-under go under most of the time. So let's keep it under. 30 points total in this one, I think. North Dakota wins 16-14.
That'll be an interesting score if that actually happened.
Yeah. 3 field goals from North Dakota, get it done. 3:30 ESPN Plus. Let's go to the West Coast. Cal Poly headed to number 21 UC Davis. Big spread here. UC Davis 15-point favorites. And yeah, I mean, I have no issue with them beating Cal Poly. I mean, Cal Poly's played one game. They lost it by 10 to Southern Utah. So.
Yeah, I mean, we've already made fun of UC Davis in the past for their knockoff Bears logo. But I mean, they're heavily favorited here against Cal Poly, and I do expect them to cover that. But yeah, I don't know about the over under though. That seems a little high for me.
Yeah, UC Davis battle tested as well. They beat a number 19 Idaho team at the time, and then they lost by 5 points to the number 2 team in the country, Weber State, last week. So, yeah. Over under, like you said, 55 in this one. Does Cal Poly suck that much that UC Davis can score almost all of it? That is the real question. 49-7 gets it done.
Yeah, I don't know if they score that much though. I think they score in the 30s, which would mean that Cal Poly would have to score in the teens, and I don't know if that's going to happen.
Yeah, we'll have to see. That one is at 4 p.m. First time in the rankings here, number 24, Jackson State headed to face Alabama State. And Jackson State still, like, it's back-to-back horrible logos between UC Davis and Jackson State, not Jacksonville State, Jackson State. Deion Sanders here.
Mm-hmm.
I would expect them to cover and win. Alabama State's only game came in a loss to Southern almost a month ago. February 26th was that game. They've had, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games postponed between the fall and now.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I being off a month, I'm surprised it's even 6.5. I do like it that it's 6.5 because that's a touchdown cover. So that's nice, easy. Bookmakers did it for us there. But yeah, I don't see any problem with Jacksonville State beating this team handily.
Yeah, I expect them to win this one pretty good. But yeah, I think everything hits too. I think they win by more than a touchdown, and I think it's the spread. They're gonna go over 45.5.
Yeah, I agree. I like over 45.5. Jackson State getting probably 35 of that, and then Alabama State just having to get 2 touchdowns to get over that. So 4 p.m. That one is on national television. The only game. I think it's because it's Deion.
Yep. I was just thinking that.
I think Jackson State has a TV deal with ESPN, or the conference does. I don't know though, but it's on ESPN too. So we had, yes, Chris, you were right, man. The running backs are signing like crazy now. Philip Lindsay going to the Texans on a 1-year deal.
Just another Texan son.
I know. I feel bad for Philip Lindsay now. But yeah, I don't know. Like I said, this one is on ESPN 2 at 4 p.m. Back to the Missouri Valley here. Missouri State at number 10, Northern Iowa. Northern Iowa coming off a loss to Southern Illinois last week. No problems in this one. They'll cover. Missouri State, not good. So, yeah. quick talk for this game. The over-under is very low. Even lower than North Dakota State, North Dakota. It's 34.5. My Lord. I know Northern Iowa hasn't scored over 21 points, but still.
I think it's more of the fact that they don't think Missouri State can score that much. Um, yeah, this one I don't know because I feel like every time it's been in the 30s, it's been like they've hit the under, but it's just such a low score. It's so hard, but I'm gonna have to just stick with the trend and say it's gonna go under.
Yeah, I don't know though. Because Northern Iowa defense is very good. That's literally their whole team is their defense. But at the same time, like, you tell me that the two teams cannot combine for 5 touchdowns. I have no idea. Chris, I'm going to go with you. Let's hit the under 34.5. And yeah, Northern Iowa wins 1-0 like they did against Youngstown State 3 weeks ago. Yeah, that's all right. This one is 5 p.m. ESPN Plus. Number 7, Sam Houston State, coming off a massive blowout of Nicholls State last week, 71-17 at Lamar. Again, this could be another blowout. Sam Houston State scoring 57 points per game right now. They are just absolutely lighting it up in both of their games. They scored 43, like I said, 71 last week, 43 on February 27th against Southeastern Louisiana. Should have no problems with Lamar. Lamar got blown out, and one of their 2 losses was a 55-0 loss to Nicholls State, who, like I just said, lost 71-17 last week to Sam Houston State. I have Sam Houston State covering the 28.5 in my parlay. Or no, I have it. I bought a point. To make it 27.5, make it an even 4 touchdowns. I like having that set there. So.
Yeah, I definitely think that they can cover the 28.5 points. But I mean, they've already shown that they can cover the over under on their own too.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know about this one.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it gets to 61. I think something like that Nicholls State loss for Lamar is more like it, 55-0. I have a hard time seeing that it would be 55-0. So maybe it does get over 61 if it's 55-7. So
yeah.
But yeah, I do. I kind of do like the over though, with Sam Houston being able to score a lot. This one, 7 p.m. ESPN Plus.
I mean, well, I'm just thinking here. 63 would be 9 touchdowns. You think that Sam Houston could score 9 touchdowns on their own?
I don't know. Yeah, I mean,
It'll be an interesting game to watch.
Like I said, they scored 71 against a team that beat Lamar 55-0 last week. So
yeah.
I mean, if you really want to, you can just combine those 2 scores and make it 120-0.
Yeah. That sounds good to me.
All right, let's go to a couple games we have for Sunday. Southeast Missouri State having a heartbreak double overtime loss last week to, I'm blanking on who it was. Austin P, I believe it was. Yes.
Yeah.
49-42, because they did not cover my -6 that I needed them to in order for me to win my parlay. So I hope number 8, Jacksonville State, blows them out this week. I think Uriah West Josh Samuel there, running backs, along with Zion Webb. Zion Webb, the quarterback there, I think he's played pretty well as well. So, yeah. Jacksonville State should cover. They did have an issue with UT Martin last week, early on. Ended up covering, winning by 17, but still.
I don't think they'll have a problem with this one.
Plus, it's at home, which makes it easier. Over under is 50.5. No.
Yeah, I don't think that. Yeah, I think these two teams are not going to score enough points to get to 50. I mean, that would be 7 touchdowns and a field goal essentially to get over 50. Which, I don't see it happen.
Yeah, I agree. 3 p.m. ESPN Plus on Sunday. When did I miss Devontae Booker to the Giants?
That I forgot about that. That happened a while ago.
Yeah, I don't know. I just saw Field Yates having a breakdown of running back deals this offseason. Also, Mike Boone to the Broncos as well.
Oh yeah, that I just remember that too. The Philip Lindsay deal makes no sense, like even less sense than it did before. Because I forgot they also have Mark Ingram and David Johnson as well. So
yeah. Like I said, no one knows what the Texans are doing, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah, actually, there was conflicting reports on Chris Carson's deal. Oh, includes a third void year.
Mhm.
But Field Yates put it at 2 years, 14.625. Adam Schefter puts it at 3 years, 24.625. That's $10 million difference. So I'm not sure which one is right. But, yeah. The Browns also just signed Eagles defensive lineman Malik Jackson. So Larry Ogunjobi's replacement is now in Cleveland.
Mm-hmm.
All right. 3 p.m. ESPN Plus on Sunday, like I said. Just updating Chris Carson, $5.5 million guaranteed in year 1. 6.9 million is his max value in 2021. All right, last game here. Tennessee State at number 25. Murray State, the Racers, in the top 25 for the first time this season. I like Murray State a lot.
Mm-hmm.
They were one team that did win when I needed them to last week. Unfortunately, like I said, Southeast Missouri did not do me any favors and lost the parlay, but that is besides the point. Murray State, big win over Tennessee Tech last week. All 3 of their wins have been close, however. Do not think this one will be the same, but I could be wrong because, like I said, all 3 of their wins have been within 5 points. They won 1 by 5, 1 by 4, and 1 by 3. So I don't know if which way this one goes. Are they going to win by 2? Are they going to win by 6 in this one? Or are they going to cover the spread at 10.5, Chris, because Tennessee State sucks?
I mean, yeah, I think they cover. And I think it goes over too. I like the over.
Yeah, over under set at 47.5. I do not like the over. Murray State's going to win 27-10. All right, this one also is at 3 p.m. on ESPN Plus on Sunday. So we spent 3 hours so far, Chris.
Home stretch.
Let's go another half an hour or 15 minutes, whatever we like. It's probably going to be more like 5 minutes because we're not going to talk about these guys very much because what do we actually know about place kickers and punters for the 2021 NFL draft? We know that most likely 1, maybe 0 will be drafted.
I was going to say, can we get an over-under on the number that are going to get actually drafted?
Yeah, I would set it at half. So yeah, take that. Do with that what you will. But all right, I'll go first here. So my number 1 specialist is Hunter Presley Harvin from Georgia Tech. Dude, he's massive for punter. I think his weight was listed at like 255. So yeah, he is a big boy that can also boom the ball. I think he could end up probably getting in on a camp roster and beating a veteran out. So my first kicker here is Riley Patterson, longtime Memphis Tiger, is very experienced. And, he's made some big kicks for Memphis in his career. That's why I like him. I like his poise. And like I said, very experienced as well. Number 3, kicker, Jose Borregales from Miami. He has a big leg. I didn't notice him too much for the U this year. But like I said, what I do know about him is that he has a massive leg and can kick long field goals. 4 is punter Max Duffy. Saw him play against Georgia this year. Pretty good coffin corner guy. Needs some work. I don't think his leg is as strong as some of the other guys, but I think he can place the ball pretty well inside the 20 there. And he had to do a lot of punting being at Kentucky. So 5 is kicker Evan McPherson. Now, I said experience ruled the day with Riley Patterson and number 2. Evan McPherson is probably just as experienced as Riley Patterson, but I think where the difference comes with him and Borregales is that I don't think Evan McPherson has that strong of a leg compared to the other 2 guys. And while experience does matter in this day and age, you need to be able to kick 50-plus yarders on a regular basis in the NFL. So that is why Evan McPherson is my 3rd kicker, number 5 on the specialist rankings for me. Not doing any sleepers today because there's only like 12 total to pick from. So, all right, Chris, here you go.
All right, so my list is kind of flipped from yours. Because I have Evan McPherson as my number 1 guy there. I mean, he had a shaky end to the 2020 season and ended up being 15 of 19 overall for the season. But it was more towards the end of the season where he started to miss the things. And, I mean, his long of the season was a 55-yarder that could have cleared it from a few more yards too. So he has the leg for it. He just needs to work on his accuracy a little bit. But in his previous 2 seasons, he was a lot more accurate. He was 17 and 19 between those 2 years, which equaled out to a 90% success rate. But like I said, he does have the leg, but he doesn't have the I'm trying to think of how to word this. He doesn't have the experience, I guess is the word, for lack of a better term, of kicking long field goals, because his long in 2018 was only 48 and his long in 2019 was 50. So he hasn't really kicked that many long field goals, but nonetheless, he is projected to be one of the better kickers in this draft class. And then my number 2 is Jose Borregales. He, on the other hand, unlike McPherson, he has the experience of hitting the long field goals. His long this past season was 57, and he only made he only attempted 2 kicks over 50, and he made them both. Overall this season, he was 18 for 20, and the 2 misses that he had were in the 40s. So he needs to work on that area. But other than that, he was great this year. And the reason why he's my number 2, though, is that aside from this year, he was very inaccurate in his previous years at the U. My number 3 is Max Duffy from Kentucky. The reason I put him on there is because he had a great 2020 season. He averaged 46 yards per punt, which is pretty good. And his long was 75 yards. So I don't know if that was in the air. I would assume probably not. It probably bounced a little bit, but still 75 yards is really good. And he earned his invitation to the Senior Bowl this year. And in 2019, he won the coveted Ray Guy Award for punters. And so, yeah, I think that kind of like you said, I forget who you were talking about, but I think he can earn a spot in a camp and possibly beat out whoever the incumbent starter is on whatever team he tries out for. My number 4 here is kicker Riley Patterson from Memphis. You talked about him a little bit, but the reason why I had him as my 3rd kicker was that he was pretty inaccurate here in 2020. He only hit 70% of his field goals, although he did have a long of 56. And but yeah, I don't know why he took a dip in accuracy this year, because in his junior year, he was 23 of 25, which is a 90. I think it's a 92% completion percentage, which is great. And in that season, he was a perfect 6 for 6 in the 40s and 5 of 6 in the 50 and longer. So he's got the leg for it. He just, for whatever reason, took a dip in accuracy this past season. But if he can clean that up, then I think he'll be a good kicker on a team. I think he can do exactly what I said for Max Duffy and kind of compete for a starting kicker job. And then my final one is Mr. James Smith, the punter for Cincinnati there. I pretty much put him on this list because on the prospect list that I was looking at, he was the only other player that I didn't list yet that had a projected draft spot. Everybody else had undrafted or whatever else. So, but anyway, he had a decent 2020. He averaged 44 yards a punt. But I think this is I think the reason why I had him so low on my list. It's that his long was only 60 yards. So, 60 yards is still good, but I would like to see 70 and above for a long punt. But he was at the Senior Bowl, and he must have impressed because he is rated pretty high for a punter. But yeah, I think that he'll be competing for a job come September or August, I should say.
Yeah. Jose Borregales He was at FIU before Miami this past year. Updating Philip Lindsay's deal with the Texans: 1 year, $3.25 million, $1 million guaranteed per Adam Schefter. So, good amount of money given from the Texans. Yeah, three-headed monster: David Johnson, Mark Ingram, Philip Lindsay, very well-known names. All right, that is our top 5 specialists for the 2021 NFL Draft. And next week, we do not have any draft rankings. So that should take at least 10, 15 minutes off the show length. Who knows how many free agent signings we'll have next week, too.
I don't think there will be as many. Because most of them have been taken off the board now. So.
Yeah, next week we'll have, that is not going to be off season week 6. It's going to be free agency week 2. But yeah, we will try to come up with a something new for Fridays if there's not as many free agent signings next week. But yeah, great show as always, Chris. Everyone, don't forget to follow us here on YouTube, as well as our Facebook page, on Instagram and Twitter as well, at FAA Podcast on those media outlets, as well as check out our website, faapodcast.com. And we will, and also don't forget to check out our Teespring shop that is pinned to the top of our Twitter and Facebook pages.
Yeah, just a quick note on that. I received my my phone case that I ordered, but it's currently on the phone, which I am using, so I can't show it. And I also ordered some sweatshirts. They came in, but I ordered them to be delivered to my girlfriend's house, so I do not have mine currently. But as soon as I do get mine, I will be wearing it at the next show the next show I can when I get it. So I'll model them off for us.
All right. Like I said, great show as always, and we will see you on